Hello, gatekeepers. I'm going to put it right there because I'll tell you what, the colors, the vibrant, um, not just the colors and the visuals on that little clip. It's not just the visuals. The vibrant in there was also the energy and the vibe and the sound. And that's what kind of tonight is about, connecting into energy. Now, I'm going to admit right out of the bag, I'm learning with you guys tonight. I'm reaching out in all different, like this spider web of the supernatural, paranormal, metaphysical. You know, I've told you guys I know some about astrology. I know some about tarot. I know some about um different alignments and things of the planet. I mean, and people can talk about that and they're fluent in it, and there's so much to learn in that field, so much to learn in the field of Reiki, as our guest tonight, Stacey Leigh, knows about, and energy and healing, um, very much anything tribal, indigenous. We called it handshaking. Now, you tell me how handshaking with an eagle feather and feeling someone's energy and giving them your good energy is different from somebody who might do Reiki or heal in um, any continent. Pick, because every culture has this, the laying on of hands. Lynn Monet knows about that. She did her laying on of hands and her healing for decades, in the medical field and end of life care. Um, both of these ladies have an abundance of energy. When I first walked into it, whether it be through a voice Or in Stacey's case, I walked by a table and I felt it and I had to stop me dead in my tracks. And I backed up 3 because that's how fast I walk. Foo, foo, foo. I had to back up 3 to it. Where is it? Where? There she is. Zeroed right in. Didn't have to say much, very much like when I met Lynn. It was okay. I'm on my way somewhere. You're doing something. Here's my card. I'm going to get you on the show because I know everything I need to know about you through your energy. Do you understand? And she's just like, I'm right there with you. So here we are tonight, all 3 of us. But as I said, I'm going to be learning tonight, and I thought it'd be great to have my wonderful co-host, Lynn Monet, on. Now, Lynn is an author. She is a paranormal experiencer, a sensitive, a medium, a wonderful mother, and we always forget about that. A terrific human being. She is headfirst in the struggle to be a decent human being in this crazy upside down world we're in. So there's a lot to be said for that as well. But also fantastic stories and seeing things that we think we want to until it happens to you. And then you go, I would wish that on my worst enemy. And Lynn Monet can talk about all of that, this wonderful spider web of metaphysical, paranormal, supernatural. Get in here, sweetheart, so you can help me introduce our guest tonight. You're muted, sweetheart. Hang on, let me see if it's my end. Hold on, it could be me.
I was just calling to my daughter to crank up the air conditioner because I'm sweating over here in the kitchen. So
crank it. Well, look at that spotless kitchen yet again. Donna Reed and Mrs. Brady, Alice. I guess Alice did all the work in the Brady house, did she? Mom didn't do. What did she do? She just ran around and got her,
Well, what she was really doing after the fact that Greg was telling about that he was porking Mrs. Brady when they were in between scenes. So she was doing quite a bit.
I can imagine, but let's just face it this way. I'm not sure. I can't speak on that either, but I can say this. Alice cleaned that kitchen.
She did.
Lynn, this is what I mean. So if you're a youngin' and you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the Brady Bunch. Go back. You can catch it on Pluto's or Nostalgia TV or something.
It's a great show.
When I met this young lady, this wonderful spirit, this, she's one of us. So again, you heard I walked by, had to back up 3 feet. I'm like, where is it? Bang. So you're going to get it. We didn't do any prep for this show, guys, because it's not needed. When you have this level of energy that's going to sink tonight, and we're going to, like I said, I'm learning with you because Lynn and Stacey know a little bit about elementals, don't we, Lynn? And a little bit more about that kiss of nature in the energy that you use every day, whether it's Reiki healing or like you, Lynn, with all the healing that you've done in the medical field. You're good, sweetie.
Okay, I didn't want to be looking off to the side, and I just wanted to say I'm adding to what Cisco's saying. I am also learning too. I mean, all of us are learning. Nobody knows everything, so it's wonderful to connect with people of like mind that we can share with and add pieces to the puzzle to make it a whole.
Isn't that terrific? So without further ado, I'm not even sure if I introduced you. It's one of those things when you get in this kind of energy, it takes a second. It's like you're jumping on a moving train and you have to wait for your car to go by, and then you get in and go, okay.
That's right.
It's kind of like that with the energy. Stacey Leigh, get in here, sweetheart. Welcome aboard.
Hello. Can you guys hear me okay? I couldn't get my headphones to work.
Perfect. You look beautiful. You sound wonderful. Welcome aboard this crazy train. So, Stacey,
Lynn, that's the only way is to be crazy.
Yeah. It's so true, baby. Stacey, this is our chat. This is our live chat. Can you see the chat? I don't know if on your vessel, if you're getting chat.
I see where it says private chat, but it doesn't. Oh, comments.
That would be you.
Oh, there we go.
Do you have it?
Yeah, it was.
This is one of the best. This is one of the best damn live chats you're ever going to meet. This is next level. This is light workers. They're all enjoying the journey. They're all here through either metaphysical gemstones, healing herbs, just across the board to paranormal investigators and mediums and sensitive light workers, the whole bunch, and just curiosity seekers, right, Lynn?
Yes, and I can't see the chat either, but we do have
I throw it up there.
A very talented bunch of people in the chat that are all of like mind. There's nothing that you can't talk about that would faze or shock these people, and they all have bits and pieces to add to it as well. So they are all amazing. I love you guys. Sorry I can't see the chat.
And I just have to explain, I'm sorry if you're not a meat eater, but they will sling bacon at you, and bacon is love. Don't ask. It's love. Bacon is love.
I love bacon. I had bacon for breakfast.
Here it comes.
Me
Here
too.
it comes. So I have to warn people, because you will get bacon slung at you. They get very happy. Oh, look. Okay. Hey, Lindsay, how you doing tonight? So chat, let me go ahead and say hello to you guys as you welcome Stacey and Lynn in here. Listen, Stacey, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, there's such a wonderful wide spread. I figured I'd bring in here. You tell us what you feel the universe wants you to tell us right now for tonight about you.
I think the main thing is like my entire life I've been called to help people.
There we go.
In my day job, I'm actually a social worker and therapist.
There you go.
Hey, Renee, that's Dr. Renee. She's going to be on in a couple weeks. Hello, soul sister. Come on in. Here comes more bacon. I'm sorry, honey. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So this call to help people my entire life. I've always been the helper. I've always been the peacekeeper, trying to make people feel better.
Same.
Which, definitely put me through some crap when I was younger, because I was getting walked all over. And, but that's what led me to this life, and my own trauma when I was young led me to Reiki, and led me to yoga, and led me to this world I'm in now. And
doesn't it seem so healing. Common, not to jump in here, but doesn't it seem so common that a lot of kids that have some type of trauma, whether it be however massive it may be, it's all individual, so it is what it is to you, but it also helps us almost learn faster somehow. The fast tracker kind of thing is what I wanted to reiterate. Same, Lynn?
I agree. I do agree. I'm sorry, I've got a little tickle in my throat.
Okay.
Couldn't find my antihistamine, so I apologize.
Get your sweet tea in a mason jar. Put you some Southern Comfort in there. I don't care. There
I know,
go.
right?
You got Southern Comfort, and that hot chocolate is so tasty. There you go.
Probably put me to sleep. At my age, at 60, I have a hard time staying awake past 9 o'clock.
Which one do I have tonight? What is this one? Oh, this is my Ouija one.
Oh, I like that one.
Isn't that pretty?
I collect mugs too. I have tons of mugs.
Yeah, I you got to take care of them too. I've thrown out some really good mugs just because I had a big old chip in it, and I hated to say goodbye, but that chip just, but isn't it? It's kind of like us. And I was just thinking this whole profound thing about people with chips in them. Just move along. You don't want to go in there. It would make sense, but it's going to take me 20 minutes. Was one of those. Yeah. But go ahead, Stacey. Continue on.
Well, what I was saying is, yes, my trauma led me to this. And what you were saying earlier, like, we kind of all been there. And I think, like, a lot of times when I'm working with individuals and I'm working with people, and I'm like, oh, I've been here, I've done this. And so I've really adopted the belief that I went through everything I went through to help others, to be the person that I needed when I was younger, to be the person that I needed even in my early 20s and my 30s. And I feel like that's kind of what led me into this path. It's really been a spirit-led path, a soul-led path. I really haven't chosen it. It chose me. It really chose me. I can't say that I purposely did any of it. So
I just relate. Go with the flow. We all can relate. We all can. Yeah. And it's like I said, fast trackers too, because if you meet people at a young age that's gone through so much that it really did mold you fast, it's like you went through the gauntlet and somebody sped up the treadmill. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize that I was one. I still am probably. But you have to be, what I mean as far as kids, and it may not be trauma, it may be something else, it may be dealing with abilities. Like I see dead people, a little 6-7-year-old that's got, people, that's got the death echo, or the death state, earthbound, showing up right in front of you and no warning.
Yeah.
That's trauma. Might
Yeah.
have had a great home life, but can you talk about it? So a lot of people with abilities go through that trauma too, or if they do speak up, Stacey, then the next thing you know is, what do? Medicate it.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, yes.
Schizophrenic, ADHD. I know
Hallucinations,
so many creative
dementia.
people.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, so many. And then you're medicating it because they don't want you to do that. So how do they deal with it?
In this box that
Yep.
society has created for us, in this order, and this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to work for the man, and you're supposed to pay your taxes and work to pay, and so they want you in this little box. So medicine keeps you in that box.
Yeah, and there's so much wisdom in the thing, in the small few words that an elder told me. Basically, when I was learning herbal, cures and herbal, a different. Yeah, I see your wall, baby. I see your wall. So I mean, that's why I said, it's like I feel like no introduction's necessary. She's just part of the family. Plus, she's hanging at the Hoover. She's down there. What are you doing? 24th, was it?
The Halloween weekend, I'll be at the Hoover.
I was the 28th.
I was there last month, and I'm going to be there the 28th.
Fabulous. We'll talk more on that because it's about. I want to get to the point where energy, and it's collecting in pods now, and Hoover's one of them. That's a light vortex like nobody. Yes. Is it not a light vortex? Chills. It's almost like you feel the. Because of the people there, it already had the potential, but the right people with the right intent got around there, made this light vortex.
All of Waynesboro. It's coming into
incredible.
All of Waynesboro, and people that are saying that they want to move there, and my husband and I are actually looking for a place there.
Us too.
We're going to have people all move to.
We're being called, but we're being called. We're being called. It's like the old lady with the guitar on the porch in the cornfield. Yeah. I'm telling you, and that's where we're getting called to take care of each other, to help each other, to create this thing. Can you imagine a place where people can come in a bed and breakfast, Lynn, and stay overnight and not have to leave one of Stacey's sessions where she's doing Reiki healing and maybe soul healing and cleansing and all of this, and the person doesn't have to get in a car and go on a highway. You stay overnight in the same spot and do whatever, and continue the heal right in through the night. What a wonderful idea that would be.
Yeah, that is an amazing idea.
I don't do that. I mean, I dabble a little in the herbal and the natural cures and things like that, and all that kind of stuff. But for people that do have the healing hands, now I can pull energy.
We all have healing hands.
And I could do, but I'm to the point where I do that very briefly and little spurts. When I feel spirit guides put me in the spot to do it, then I'm on, and I'm like, okay, she needs to hear about that knee, and then I move on. But I wouldn't have a booth. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because I don't have that much knowledge. It's just I'm here. Same thing with my sniper mess when I'm in the grocery store and I get the thing. Go tell her I'm all right and I love her. What? I just want to buy vitamins. I just want to get. I just need some vitamin C gummies.
I struggle. I go out. We go out a lot, and I'll be sitting either at the grocery store. We'll go out. We'll be sitting at a bar. Like we like breweries. My husband and I, we go to breweries a lot, and I'll sit down. And then there's this, I'm like, oh great,
it's open one in Waynesboro.
Coming to me, like they want me to say something. I'm like, and I that's something I still struggle with. Do I say something? Sometimes I do. I strike up a conversation, but like, whatever the ethics of that.
Well, here's me. We just went through this, didn't we, Lynn? A mutual friend of ours, and I'm trying to catch these comments too. Listen, mods, I'm going to need you tonight big time. We have Black Ops mods here. We're in great hands. If there's any questions that we're missing, and we're going to, because it's that Bing Bang Zoom energy thing going on here. This is electronics, and I'm picking it up off of Stacey. I'm sending it over to Lynn. We're trying to send it out to you, and you guys are slinging bacon and broccoli and more energy back at us. So it's hard to... so if I miss some questions, please either copy paste them and repeat them in caps or put a big Q so I know it's a question. And you might have to repeat it a couple times if I'm deep into this, because I can tell this is going to be a fun ride and it's going to go really, really fast. And we'll probably do about 10 of them, before it's all through. And we really get, it's such a big subject, mystic, miracles, and being a medium. And this is part of it. And this is the biggest question, I think, all of people like us, where, like I said, I wouldn't have a booth, but it happens to me in life. It happens to us. And then we have to make it happen to somebody else. And we're standing in the middle. I think that's why they call it a medium. We're like a bridge.
We're a bridge. Yeah.
We're a
Yes,
bridge.
that's true.
So you're standing there and you hear this, you got to tell her. So here's a quick story. I'm at the grocery store. Actually happened. I could feel it coming. Because whoever this person, this guy, and it was a male voice, is talking about, I feel her coming. And it's an energy of sadness, despair, definitely a lot of pain, more like an arthritis kind of all over the body kind of thing. And a point of just kind of sort of giving up. And I can feel it getting worse, but not off the cliff yet. Just that feeling, this is what's coming. And he's opened it, whatever this connection, this energy triangle I'm now unsolicited involved in. And he's telling me, you got to tell her. And I'm hearing this in pieces. This isn't verbatim. I'm okay. She's got to go on with life. She's got to, go with life, go, live. I'm okay. Love her, that kind of thing. She's coming this whole time. I'm like, oh man, I just want to get bread. I want to get whatever. Then you think, what right? This is what always gets me. What right do I have to not give her that message? As embarrassing as it may be for me. Even people are scared they're going to get sued. Can you imagine? I actually had this phone call the other night. Bri called me. I'm at a diner. Waitress just walked by. I saw her full-fledged remote viewer. I saw her full-fledged getting massacred by somebody who gave her a ride home from a bar. She thought she knew. What do? You can't not tell her that.
That's something
how you do it, how you sort it. So again, this just happened. Has this happened to you guys? And what did you think? I just figure, what right do I have not to tell them? And that overrides everything else. Because when some other schmuck going to be standing there trying to decide whether I want potato bread or, or wheat, and 50 years from now, well, she'll be gone, and maybe she'll.
Are you burning something?
It's incense and sage.
I was like that, or you have some kind of mist coming through. I was like,
it's just. I have a fog machine for the show.
A portal.
I was like,
it's spooky season.
Portal.
It's spooky season here at Journey Through the Gate, so we spare no expense. That's a fog machine. I might have like spooky clowns or something coming up. Go ahead, Lynn. I'm sorry, honey.
No, and excuse me for my hoarseness. I don't know where this is coming from. Of course, sometimes when we get together to talk about these sorts of things, the others that don't want these subjects exposed or talk about. They like being recognized, but they don't like being exposed. But we're also coming into the Halloween holiday where the veils are very thin between the dimensions. So the activity, the spiritual activity on the earth is so much more active right now as well. So, yeah.
See here, Linda says staying overnight in the same place after a healing session sounds wonderful.
Yes.
I'm telling you, a small little, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, whatever, and you create this and maybe go in with somebody else who can also do sessions and, you work it out and help each other.
Hey, I've got the place.
I just want to say, if my husband is watching, do you hear what she says, right? Like, we need to buy that bed and breakfast I keep talking about. He's supposed to be upstairs watching, and I'm
getting this like so strong because when she said so many people are looking. Look, are you the one that's fighting me for that one on Zillow? Because back off.
No, I'm looking for one in the woods by a creek.
I can help you. Call me. I can help you. I've been researching it for 4 years now.
Yeah,
and for any reason,
back and forth.
It's
what
going.
State are you looking for it in?
She's Waynesboro, Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah,
Waynesboro, Gettysburg area. Adams, Franklin, Franklin, Fulton. I think that's
there
the
you
area
go.
I need to be in.
Yep. Hey, neighbor. We'll be canning, making peach brandy, and we'll be coming up with our own beer by this time next year. I can see.
There you go.
Can you imagine?
How big?
Place
for me to come visit.
Just for the booze. Wouldn't that be something? Hey, they don't have a brewery out there. A brewery, the bed and breakfast.
No, they do. Rugged Edge Brewery, downtown Waynesboro. They do have that. It's a small.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Oh, how nice.
Yes.
Well, maybe you could do something close to it and be like a sister thing to draw in more. I'm telling you, between all the stuff the Berries are doing, come on. They got the Witch of Waynesboro. That movie's coming out.
Brewery.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah. With herbs and
brewery and beer, like that.
Healing, Reiki. I have so many friends. There's another lady, I'll just say Pam. She's been on the show, so you can kind of sort it. Same thing. She's Reiki with a little something else. She's got like a side of something. See, again, I'm not fluent. But everybody has like this different healing techniques. And, like my friend Beverly, she does the thing with the lights and the gemstones and the hot rocks and the whatever that light pulse thing is.
Mm-hmm. And we have
she's got a table and massage, but she's something. But again, it's all energy.
Yeah. We have a guest in the chat room, Dr. Renee Nagel, that's going to be on with Cisco coming up, and she uses a method that is also energetic with eye movement called EMDR. That she's just come out with a book, and she is, she's definitely, here she is. Hey, Renee, we love you.
Hey, sweetheart.
And she's just amazing. So
October 15th.
And I think that she's up your way too, if I'm not mistaken. Renee, are you up near Pennsylvania? I think she's up near Pennsylvania. She's not too far from you guys.
Well, see, here's the thing. If people could go and make it after all the stuff that the earth is going through right now, and the light workers that make it out, we still got their light might get dim, but they're not going to get put out. Nobody I know. Everybody is just like it's regenerized from all this mess, but you can feel it. Mm-hmm. And if there was a place that rejuvenated the light of just by being there, I would say that this is the area that there's something about. I don't know if it's ley lines. I don't know if it's
3 Mile Island.
Or if it's like the intent of the people, or if it's this gathering thing that's going on. But I see a whole place that's very much like a lily dale or whatever, but mindfulness on healing the natural way and through all of this, kind of like think the way, let's just say tribes at this time that still function in all over different continents.
I'm sorry, I just responded, Renee. I work in Mechanicsburg. I work in Mechanicsburg. I'm actually at Mountain View Middle School in the emotional support classroom. I'm a therapist there. So you're right by me.
There you go. So, can you imagine a whole town that was like that? I mean, interwoven with everybody else that's mindful, to the same thing, whether it be canning and preserving or teaching a kid how to sew a button on or any. I see all of this and the history. Like I said, the Berries already have set up a haunted tour. Keystone State Paranormal with the Berries have got the bus get ready to go. They've got the what do you call it? You have to have like rights, like to the I guess rights to the graveyard and the the tour is what I mean.
Yes.
So they've already got that. So you've got the paranormal, and where you have that, you have your metaphysical, you have your tribal, you have your nature. All of that's wide open. You're healing. So whether you're a handshaker or a regression, past life regression therapist or a healer, everything there. Can you imagine?
Yeah, you have Michoud State Forest, which is right on the outskirts of that. And that forest, the magic in that place. And that is like where the portal is. I go and walk. It's the Appalachian Trail is there, but there's the creek trail that I go on. And I literally if you go back on my Facebook and look at pictures, it's magic. There's magic in that forest. I mean, it's enchanted.
And it's like I said, it's there's something there, Lynn, like ley lines or something else, but it's also very concentrated in this house where you do table tipping, and the tables practically walk across the daggum living room. You should have seen it that night, but I've been there many times doing it, but it's just there's so much energy. They don't have to fight their way through there. I believe the spirits and spirit guides there get together. They do all the filtering. They do the ushering. Yes, yes. And the filtering through and bring in these other spirits. So there's not a lot of that upfront stuff you have to get through. It's kind of like knowing the door guy at a really hot club. Do you see what I'm saying? And they don't even, all they got to do is nod and walk by and they're in, where other ones are, you know, you're not on the list, man, you know. And you come in there and they connect with their loved ones. Grief is healed.
Hey, you watching
Love
that?
is connected.
You're watching about the,
you know,
first. Sorry,
it's incredible. And it's just, but it is something like the energy, but it's also the people. And I think it's the people it's attracting, and the people it's rejecting.
Yeah.
Because you're just not getting the vibe there. Is just the frequency there, Stacey.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about all that?
It is. I do think like there is, like, I think the forest has something to do with it. I have a Druid background. I'm Celtic. And so
Very cool.
have that Druid shamanism. And like there is the elementals, that everything working together in that area from that forest and on outward is drawing people in. And it's been slowly drawing me in over time. I met Pam. And now we're like besties. And I met her just walking into a store about 10 years ago. And
yep.
And she's the one that I got my start with her. Like,
there you go. And it just keeps echoing off, and all the people that are there, whether you're a paranormal investigation, whether it's equipment, whether you're an inventor of equipment, or someone who does silicone, what you would call Halloween decorations, you know, or you're a gemstone artist or a wire sculptor. I'm a wire sculptor, and all that kind of it's just all these like-minded, but different levels of very similar, same thing, different depths in each, you know, offshoot, really, you know. So, but so many great people that are there. Like when you go down there to that place and everybody's drawn in, and you're doing, you know, you're going to be on the 28th. Now, what are you doing? You could get a room on Airbnb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a room on Airbnb, or you can contact Pam in general, or just like the Hoover House number that's on there.
Right.
We're doing a whole Halloween thing, like starting Friday night. There's someone from Lilydale is going to be there. I forget her name, but she is a medium, spiritual teacher, going to be there Friday night. Saturday during the day, I'll be doing readings, and then there's all kinds of just fun Halloween things. We're going to be dressed up. She's doing a Victorian,
fantastic,
Halloween
I love that
thing. And then Steve will take us all out on the bus, because we all like to go out on the bus and drive through town. Last year we drove through town and we were zombies, and we were trying to attract people onto the bus at being zombies. I'm yelling out the window. I'm like, come join us.
So much fun though. So much fun. See, I live for this stuff. This is why we're like digging, looking, and trying to get it all set. I mean, literally, my stuff is in boxes.
And when Pam does an event, she doesn't have enough rooms. Like there needs to be more. Like, and what she said, she's like, well, I have carryover, and I need people to stay somewhere else. You know, like
and if somebody else had a bed and breakfast, it would always be full. And then see, I want to get her involved in all the haunted weddings, because I'm also a floral designer. And
she just had a bridal shower last weekend.
I specialize in weddings and events, and you know, all of that high style stuff. And I mean, I've been training for that all my life, literally. And I ran a great one down south for this antebellum plantation, you know, and I mean all out, your cars decorated, everything, you know, soup to nuts. And that whole thing, I was like, man, all that knowledge, you come there, I said, I'm gonna make you so much money. Because all I want to do is set it up, do the design, do all the flowers, and just here, you know. And if you offer people packages, you can go to Waynesboro, you get a haunted tour, you get this, you have a room, you could get married, we'll get you what kind of ordained, whatever, what do you want, you know? And everybody, and it's just, again, chapel of, you know, haunted love, I guess. Spooky love.
What a way to start your married life. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it would be cool. I think it'd be very cool. So anyway, it's just fun. Yep.
I just tagged Pam to see if she'd jump on. She's on her way to Gatlinburg. I don't know if they made it there or not.
Is she old lucky stiff? And
I know.
So much history out there, Stiff. So much history out there. You know, I mean, you got Antietam, Harper's Ferry, you've got Gettysburg, you've got all the skirmishes all through Cashtown, all of that. And you know, all of that encompassed in Devil's Den. I mean, I'm also see, I'm into the history. You know, I want to get in
Devil's Den Rock.
Oh my God. I can go up there. I go sit on a little round top and
that's what I do. I love it there.
I mean, I've got to definitely want to do a composite of journals, you know, almost like people talking to each other from both sides. And, you know, just it's the history would be amazing. You got to come too, Lynn.
I know. I'm going to try to catch up this year. That's for sure. Had so many issues. And as you know, right now I'm dealing with a house issue with a not so friendly elemental
Tell Stacey
issue. I found out
this is one of the reasons I've got you tonight, because Stacey knows more and connects more into that elemental, you know, and can help you more. So I'm more of the Native American, know a little bit. So I'm going to sit back and listen. You guys tell her what's going on.
My sister passed away a couple of months back, excuse me, and I inherited her house. And I knew that there was a spirit in it because I kept seeing a male walking through, which I think since has passed over, but there was something in the house that kept shift changing. So I was thinking at first that it was a poltergeist because I had never dealt with an elemental before. I knew they existed, but I didn't really, you know, it wasn't my forte. So I came in with the bells and whistles to remove the spirits, cross them over, close the portals and be done. And none of that worked. The thing was still there. It was a little, I want to say like a boggart or it looks like kind of like a puck wedgie, but it's not in an area that a puck wedgie would be in because it's in Louisiana. Okay. So it looks more like a boggart, like one of those bankers on Harry Potter with the elongated nose and the little kind of flannel suit looking thing. Or at least his hair or whatever it was on him was laying that way, but he's under 3 feet tall. And he was stealing clothes and leaving glass on the floor in places where nothing had been broken. And we found that there was a rock in the house. It had Brian Bowden go in and do, he went in and did remote viewing for me and found it and was so accurate talking about the room behind the kitchen with the alcove, which there is. Then the room upstairs that also had the alcove that connected with the downstairs one, which there was. And inside of that room, there was a rock that my sister had brought into the house. And this elemental holds spirits hostage in the home, almost like bobbing balloons. He carries them with him. Sometimes a lot of those I did get to cross over when we distracted him with the rock. The rock is something very, very important to him. We took it and we placed it outside. Pardon me?
It's a goblin. It sounds like a goblin.
It is a type of goblin, but it is like a goblin troll looking thing, but it's specifically called, I think, a boggart or like I said, a boggart, yeah, or a like a puck wedgie looking kind of thing because of the elongated nose with the face, and it's short, and its new name for me is fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, because he loves to say that, and that's what he calls me, along with a couple of other choice things. But because we got help from Cisco and Brian and also Jim and Melissa Rupert and Chris Carr, we reached out to several people, but Brian was able to go in and see it and see that it was affiliated with the rock that my sister had inadvertently bought in the house. Now, my sister, the house had foreclosed 4 times prior to her getting the house. And I found this out because I was having a yard sale. A lady came to the yard sale and said, oh, I know the people that used to live here 10 years ago, and they ended up foreclosing on the house, and they purchased it out of foreclosure. And then the people that my sister bought it from bought it out of foreclosure and then went into foreclosure. But when my sister bought it, she paid cash for it. Okay. So this little beastie thing was causing her to have terrible financial and health problems, of which she ended up dying from. And the more the financial problems, she couldn't leave because she had paid cash for the house. It wasn't like the other people with a mortgage that could be that would have to foreclose on the house. And she did end up passing. I believe that he was grooming her to be one of his balloons, which fortunately she did collapse in the house after coming home from the hospital, but her spirit got right back into her body. We got her out to the hospital, and that's where she eventually passed away. But coming back home, as my son was carrying the rock outside to a shed to place it, that little thing was standing behind him, flinging vines at his legs, wrapping his legs, trying to stop him from taking the rock because he didn't know what was going to happen with the rock. So as he was distracted, I opened the front door and I said, look, anybody that wants to leave, go to the light, look up, connect with your cord, go. Yeah. Now is the time to go. I mean, they were like rushing out the door. I mean, I thought that he only had like 16 of them, but it turned out 2 nights later, after the rock was placed in the shed area, the yard was just filled with spirits that he had captive. I mean, literally shoulder to shoulder. Wow. In this big, huge 2-acre lot. So he'd been collecting people for a long, long time.
Hang on a second, Lynn. Hang on 1 second. Stacey, this is some Amy Allen kind of shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This is like some ancient, ain't going nowhere. The best you can do is distract it while you go in there and pack your boxes and get the hell out. We've already been through all this. I'm just letting you know that this is where we are, and I'm just filling you in.
There is a solution, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah. So
it's crazy, but it's wild.
We were able to negotiate with it in the sense that we took the rock out, we gave it a bell for music, we offered it baked goods as long as it would stay out of the house while we were moving stuff out of the house. And it just so happened that we were supposed to leave a day earlier, and then there was a leak in the bathroom sink, so it was on Labor Day, so I had to get a plumber, which was hard to do. And so when my son and I came back from eating dinner, he's grumbling. He sounded like the Tasmanian devil on Bugs Bunny, grumbling. And we had to redirect him again back out to the shed because we were not ready to leave yet. And the thing is that evening, my son was outside loading the vehicle, and I hear all of these F-bombs being dropped. It sounded like it was my son's voice, and I run to see what had happened. I thought he had dropped something or he was lifting something heavy. Maybe he got hurt. And there's my son standing at the door when I opened the door. And I'm like, what happened? Are you okay? And he said, that wasn't me. It was the little thing. So the next morning, we had both of the engines started on my son's car and on the truck that I was taking. My son was inside of the truck hooking up my phone charger to so that my phone could be charging while I was driving. And all of a sudden I hear, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I'm like, why on earth is Austin dropping these F-bombs? So I walked over to the vehicle, and there he is hooking things up. And I said, what happened? Why are you dropping the F-bombs? And he said, that wasn't me. And then we both hear this, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And here's this, the entity thought we were leaving and not going to leave the present that we had offered, which was a pastry or something and some rum. And so he was literally standing in the doorway calling to remind us that he was waiting for his treat and that he had been a good boy, waiting. Or I'm saying boy because he sounds masculine, but standing out there in that shed waiting, and he had complied and not come into the house while we were there because he wanted the treats that we have to offer. And also I can see him. So it's, before being in having people in the house, there were people that couldn't see him. I could see him, but again, I had never dealt with an elemental before. So I didn't really know that's what it was. I thought it was some form of poltergeist. I knew it wasn't a demon because I've dealt with those too before, but, and I don't like dealing with those, but
people confuse elementals with demons a lot. Yeah.
Huh?
People do confuse elementals and demons a lot.
Right. And because of the fact that it could also change shape, because it would present as my father in these ugly golf pants that my father used to wear. And I found a picture of my father in those golf pants in the room where the rock was. And then he would come in presenting as my sister that had just passed away, but the energy didn't feel right. It didn't feel, it had more of a negative energetic draw to it than when someone has crossed over and they come back. it's beautiful. I mean, the elation and the feeling, I mean, it's not even describable, but you feel a warm, loving sort of energy. And this wasn't that. So I knew that it was this thing posing as my father and my sister type thing, you know. And again, I wasn't afraid because I'm not, you know. I've been through so much of this all in my whole life that it's like, oh, okay, you know, what do we do about this now? But because of that, again, it's something that has been there forever, since before religion. So the religious, spiritual things that I would normally use, and using the fire in the pan to get it out, and all of those things like that, didn't work with it. It basically just stood there like, is that all you got? You know, so we had to be able to negotiate with it, and it does negotiate. But
you have to negotiate with them.
Stacey, I told her I had a friend who was just to again throw some more stuff at you. We're throwing this stuff at Stacey like darts. This is like
and Cisco helped me. Cisco helped me by referring me to a mutual friend that we have named Brian Bowden. And then the other thing is remote viewer. But we also had a show a couple of weeks back about it, and the words that Cisco used. This little thing was standing next to me while we were on the show, and Brian could see it. I could feel that he was there, because normally I get like a ringing in my left side. There's a spirit in the room, but they're at a distance. If they're up close, I get the ringing in my right ear. But with him, it was like
we all got so much wild stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we sling it out, chat. Listen, just to tap brakes for a second. We sling this stuff out like that real fast. Like, well, I get this in my right ear and the left side. Oh, you know, and we understand what we mean by that. And what we're basically saying is, this is what fast trackers, like Lindsay pointed out in the chat earlier, this is because we've been here so many times and we just kind of clicked in it, but we needed to hit a few trees to get to this point. It's not that we understand everything. We're just slinging stuff at each other to kind of tell each other this is where we're at. And that's why we're shaking our heads a lot like this, because we've each gone through similar things.
Exactly.
But in different ways with our own stuff. So it's just one of those where we're just slinging stuff out so we can see what level. So I had a friend basically used to call me in the circle. Hang on one second, Lynn. She used to basically, it was a collection of people, their abilities or talents or culture, because in her, what level she was at, she was practicing voodoo as a descendant bloodline of Madame Laveau. Okay. Ooh. She was very much into the past life. She spoke about that, like, you know, pass the butter, please. Okay. So she was very in tune with the unseelie fae. Some people call this the in-between, the dimension in between, the locker room, whatever that holding. It's like the green room of the the other side. So, and you could call it whatever, it means the same. And it's same, but it's as individual as you are. That's the quick version. So anyhow, all right. So this is crazy. Again, she had this thing with her husband where they kept coming into lives together, and he would always try to kill her. It was always this bombastic thing. So she speed fast to the end of that mess. He's in between where she put him. You know, he died in prison. She gave him all kind of stuff to finally get rid of him. The reason he was in there is he chopped half her foot off with an axe. Mm-hmm. So when I say volatile relationship, we need to up that a level. Yeah. Okay. And she's saying things to me, angry driving, you know, and I'm in the passenger seat trying to absorb all this mess because I don't do voodoo. But if I look at it at a 40,000 foot view, there are tribal things that match, that are similar. So I can kind of get the gist, just like you with the elementals and the earth and all, it all fits. So anyway, she's saying stuff. He's staying where he is. I'm not going through another lifetime with him. And because I'm there and I pick up earthbounds and those that don't cross over in the way, using my filters that I understand this is where they're coming from. He's calling my phone and leaving stuff on my voicemail. It's so cold. tell her to get me out. I mean, and broken up, but
Yeah.
the gist. And it's so cold. It's so creepy. So she gets, anyway, this is the level she's at. She's also does her healing where she gets off curses and bloodline curses that go way back. She got this one chick, third time. We figured third time's a charm. She collects everybody. This is my first voodoo trip, but again, like I said, it has some similarities in what I am used to, enough to go, oh, okay, that's cool. Let's add that onto the knowledge bag. And they're putting out cornmeal and honey and whiskey and offerings and things like this. I'm like, we do the same. We do the same with tobacco and
druidry too.
Herbal. And absolutely the same. So, because right is right.
Druids and Native Americans are like almost exactly
like this. And but so many things are, right? Yeah. So she knows this, and everybody she's friends with knows this, and very much like tonight, this collective here and the collective in the chat, she knew a little bit of everything, and this is the wisdom. I know a little bit of everything because this is what she's doing. I've had it up to here with the phone calls. He knows that I'm that type of energy that I'm going to be like a pit bull and go, well, we got to do something because this isn't staying, and I know he's there now, and I can't. It's a person in need of help. So we're all there, and my job is to do my, sage and my eagle feather, all this to hold everything back. She's on a plantation, all these ghosts of slaves in the wood line that have decided to stay there because they don't know where to go. And I'm telling her we got to, that's where my focus is. She goes in to the in-between and needed to make sure that she could get back out. That's why we were all there. Mm-hmm. So I tell you that story to understand that there were people there that did hoodoo. There were people that did voodoo. There was what you would call Christian and Pentecostal. I think there was a holiness or two there. There was, you know what I mean? I didn't ask. They didn't punch a card, but everybody was doing something. But gathering around to help a complete stranger that everybody there understood that her family had been attacked for how many decades, how many, generations. And so she had to go in and do some wrestling. And while she was in there wrestling, she went in there and moved her husband. Let's just put it that way. And I'll tell you what, there was a photographer there, and there are pictures where she disappears into that flame. It's insane. But I tell you that little story because of everything Lynn's going through. And Lynn is throwing out there that she knows to burn the pan. She knows the salt. She knows there's the binding and things like that. We're also at the level, like she said, you throw in Brian and everything he saw in his thing. He calls me up. It's like 12:30 at night. And I said, Brian, I'm exhausted. Here's the thing. You need a Native American that is of the local tribe. And this is how you fast track that. You go to the local library or the, there's another one you can go to. But anyway, if you go to the local library, thank you, the Historical Society, and tell them you have property that you would like to have blessed, and you would love it if the local Native American tribe had a holy person that could send there because you want that property blessed. And then once you get there, you won't have to have an explanation. But that's your fast track to the local natives because they're going to know where they are. These things happen all the time. And, I told a fruit tree. Mm-hmm. And then I said, look, if you like to bargain and you need some time, my answer, like I said, I'm like the Patton of the paranormal. I go right for the big guns. If I'm going to need a howitzer, I pull it out first strike. Yeah. So I just said, look, go and get them whiskey. I don't know if it's legal where you are, but get them some nug and a nice clay pipe and put it in the basket as an offering with some other little, something sparkly, like a crow. Mm-hmm. And while they can't help but the glutton. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
And while they're out, that's your best deal.
Yes, and that absolutely worked. When we were doing the show last time, when Cisco, she was having the energy accumulated in the room from the chat and everything. So it was like this big energy ball.
Hey,
And
buddy.
when she told that thing, and I could hear it on my side, because it actually made it like an ear plug, like on a plane when your ear seals when they're taking off, is more of what it sounded like within there, like a deadness almost. And it was almost like a whoa kind of moment. With
Not this story, Linda.
Yeah,
Sorry, Lynn.
with the the little dwarf goblin thing in the house, when he heard Cisco make the statement, basically, we're coming at you full force if you want to mess. And the thing was actually taken back by it. But Cisco,
it was just love and light, and just basically
we did
the whole chat. Everybody, this is around the world, Stacey. We have people in the UK, Scotland right now. That's why they're throwing up like good mornings and stuff like that. They're not insane. They're just now waking up because they're all over the place. Yeah. They're all over the place. God bless them all. But what do you think about all this? I know we threw a lot at you.
No, I've been kind of like thinking it like.
Just, to me, we kind of did that to let you know.
I don't think it's just the house, and it's not just that goblin or Bogart or whatever it is. And there needs to be some land reconsecration. Like, in our thing, we would go to like the highest place, the lowest place, where you go shopping, where you go here, and go all around, like within walking distance. Like if you can walk to it, then that's with a reasonable amount. You want to walk around everywhere around this house, and you want to find that highest point. You want to find that lowest point. You want to find like where people gather, where the dead are buried, any kind of sacred sites, the busiest sites. Like there's I can send you a link in the Druid thing. And then you're going to reconsecrate every piece of those lands. You're going to find the energy. Okay, where is this energy coming from? Because there's a source.
It's coming from the back where there's a forest area. It's a large 2-acre lot, but it's in the country. Okay. So it's not.
And like she said, this is ancient. And there's something bigger there that it's kind of minioning for. And first out of the gate, this is why the collection. And it's weird because it's very similar to Cabin 22, this book I wrote 3 years ago. That all this weird stuff is coming. It's all this weird stuff's coming true. I can't.
Yeah, maybe you're a prophet.
Yes.
I would go dead blank. So, and I could remember being in it, but then I'd listen to it later and I went, I wrote that?
Have you called in Guardians of the Land? Have you called in Guardians of the Land to guard the house?
I'm going to get some hot water, ladies. Continue. I'll be right back.
Again, elementals are something that are very, very new to me, and I didn't know that I was supposed to do that. So
to guard your 4 corners of the house.
And plus we were leaving. So there wasn't a lot of time to do anything but to negotiate while I clear my sister's stuff out. However, my son would like to reside there, which I don't think is a good idea, but I'm hoping that it can become a good idea. Or we were going to do like a bed and breakfast kind of thing, or have a place for exploration for people if they wanted to go in there, since I can't live in it, and besides, I live in South Carolina and it's in Louisiana. I have a 14-year-old at home that I can't leave the county because of my ex-husband. So, I'm still here for another, she'll be 15 soon, but I'm still here for another 3 years. So, I didn't want to turn around and sell it to somebody, because I know that if somebody else moves in there, they're going to have rotten luck. Their marriage is going to be destroyed. Their money is going to be destroyed. I wouldn't want to do that to someone else. And since there is no mortgage on the house, it's fully paid for, it's not an issue of me having to, pay 2 mortgages. I can afford to let it sit there. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not, I'm in a good setting that way, but in the same token, I need to do something with it. And I'm hoping to, like I said, I don't know what to do with it. I kind of wanted this place is just a backup place for the family to go to if ever they needed a place to go to, because life happens and fires happen and, people have floods and things, and maybe they will need to flee there to have a home to stay in when there's a problem. So, and even with me, you never know with life what's going to happen. So, and it would be nice at my age, like I said, I turned 60 in May, and it would be nice to eventually have a place that's fully paid for, that I can live there as a retired person and not worry about it. But if I'm not going to be able to do that, I want to be able to put it to good use. So
yeah, and that's the thing, is like these elementals, they're guardians of the land, is what I believe. Like they are guardians, and they're mischievous, and they don't like us.
And it ain't going nowhere.
They don't like us.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah.
And it's not going anywhere.
And it's not going to go anywhere. So making friends.
The best you can do, in my humble opinion, as coming from a very broken Native American Christian paranormal, what's it kind of Buddhist kind of, yeah. So because here's the thing, all wisdom is not found in one place. I learned that very long time ago. But right is right and facts are facts, and they don't care about your feelings.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is. Facts are facts. So energy is a fact. This is the thing. Things were on this earth, and that's why I said this is Amy Allen shit, because Amy Allen was like the first one to come out and go, look, there's something else here that's really sparking all of this. Like human beings come in here with cracks in their windshield, and they're easy low-hanging fruit, and they'll push on. They'll magnify something that was already seated there within that person in the first place.
Yeah.
Low-hanging fruit. And then you got your ones that are more of a challenge. So if it's more of a mischievous and it has the knowledge, and these could be human. Okay. But if there's an ancient thing on that property, it will also play with the elementals in the area, with the other unseen world that you and I, read in books.
Tell me about the birds that you see on the property.
The birds?
There you go. Yeah.
What birds do you see on the property?
That's a great question.
My sister had a very large aviary on the property. Therefore, there were African greys, conjures. There were the beautiful.
I know, yeah.
She had cockatiels, cockatoos. What are those parrots? The beautiful, colorful ones.
Look at how beautiful.
Why can't I think of it? What is it?
What is it? Say it again, honey.
Macaws. Macaw. As well as a couple of other types of bird. It was very large aviary, as I said. However, when she passed,
I think what she's asking is
the wild birds. Yeah.
Is the wild birds that are native to that area, not just that area, but what shows up in the yard there? What's the nature around that house telling you?
There are blue jays.
I want to know if there's a blue jay.
Corvids.
I have seen a lot of birds, to be honest. I mean,
any crows? Any grackles? Crows?
I haven't noticed, to be honest. I have not noticed.
If there was a murder of crows out there, honey, you'd notice. I'm just saying.
You would notice.
They speak to me all the time, though. See, I think that's a very interesting question, Stacey. Before you say why you asked it, I'd like to take a stab at it, because just blind stab as what it would mean to me as a Native American and somebody that tries to stay in tune with nature, because this is why we're having a problem. We're not acting natural. When you start adding all this plastic and all of the chemicals and all of the bullshit and the medications and the frequencies and the mind screwing and the everything, we as a human essence are up against a lot, and we're so disconnected with nature. And that's why we need to fight to get back to it. That's why we go camping. That's why we go trail hiking. That's why we do our little Saturday or Sunday afternoon, try to zap into it. But even that's not natural, because we were born in it. This is going from 24/7 living from the earth as a native, whatever we're from, doesn't matter, to this
being in nature.
This is why we're so out of balance. This is why we're so your question about the birds would tell me the same thing as when I go into the woods and everything goes silent. Mm-hmm. Or when a predator is above my house. I live on a preserve, wildlife preserve. So, the chickadee tells the squirrel just freezes and looks, all the calls. And nature has its chain, its little Morse code that it sends out. And not only that there's a predator, but where is the predator? Is it from the ground? Is it from the high? That kind of in tune with nature. And that's just the iceberg.
That's why the wolf uses the raven or the crow, That's why you see them two together so often.
Right. So the nature in that yard should be telling you something. Is it just corvids? Is it small little birds too?
You know what? I haven't really paid attention, and I noticed the sound of the blue jay from the inside of the house because
Okay.
I've been spending so much time in there. But there
Okay.
are coyotes all around there, and also she has alligators. I mean, she's had alligators in the backyard too.
So, I'm gonna go here because I know you had a podcast a couple of weeks ago about this, or it was last week. But what about any Bigfoot sightings?
Any what?
Bigfoot
sightings.
Big feet.
I believe he's an elemental, by the way. That's my belief on it. But
he's half here and half in the spirit world. Granny said so. In and out of portals like we walk through doors.
You know, I don't know, but I am aware that there is a portal to the back of the house. It's a large 2-acre fenced in lot, but on the other side, there's a foresty area. And I believe that the portal is there, is my feeling.
He's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
You can call
it what you want, but that's what's going on.
I personally, I've had here, I call him the skunk ape because that's what we call him in Florida, but I've actually been around that element before. So, not that I know of, I didn't see one, but that doesn't mean that the locals haven't seen one. But I mean, I was kind of thrown into this when my sister unexpectedly passed. And now I've been trying to deal with her issues with her house and come across this elemental and didn't know what to do with it until, you know, I had to reach out to Cisco and then her and as well as the Army of help started coming in.
They're in tune with you, Nora, and that's it too. A lot
they
of
my
gatekeepers and all these wonderful mods and stuff in here, all these light workers. Basically, this is it. We come here and we try to sort how, like, we see the darkness, we know how thick the damn fog is, we see everything coming. We're the ones trying to keep the candles in the wind lit.
But we need the darkness. I actually just bought a
absolutely
it's called The Dark Light.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's so me. Like we do
well
need
too both. In a very shamanistic way. Shaman, you don't become any type of shaman or walker, what we would call it, you know, somebody that walks in and out. But you have to fight the darkness. But isn't that the same as we began talking in this conversation tonight? Because we're talking about fast trackers and how we had to slam into trees, how we had to skin our knees. Listen, the elder that told me, honey, you know, I got bit by 5 brown recluse spiders in one night. Everybody in the house got bit once, except for one lady. And it was a house where everybody was staying to go to work, all these different jobs in the morning. Somebody in the family was getting married. Everybody was kind of hanging out there. But they had tore up a shed, and so many were in. So anyway, spiders everywhere. They're very territorial. They're like little red-tailed hawks, these freaking spiders. And one bite can kill you. I got 5 in one night, and spirit guides and this voice in my head that I'd never heard before was an older woman, told me I had everything to fight it in my purse. I was going through an all herbal cleanse, burdock root. I'm talking all the stops, right? Going through all of the stuff, right? The teas and the tinctures and everything. And I fought it natural and I beat it. So it really ran me up the ladder. If you know anything about the inner Native American circle, it ran me pushed me to the front of the class anyway, because I did no pharmaceuticals. I went all natural, and it's the only thing that kept me alive. No shit. So this elder's looking at me and saying, well, now you're on the trail to become an herbalist and, you know, a healer. You were meant to be a healer. You have healing hands, you know, and like I said, I don't have a booth, and I wouldn't even think of it because I don't have the knowledge behind it. I'm learning my stuff. It takes a while. So he said, the best way to learn how to heal a broken leg is to have a broken leg and survive through it. Yeah. That's the short version of everything we're talking about tonight.
Well, that's what the spider takes the direct path, because, you know, in the spider web, not all of the strings are sticky. It's the ones on the outer string.
How interesting.
That go, you know, how you have the web, and then you have the strings that come out this way, like diagonal, not the circle ones. Those are not sticky, and that's what that's what the spider travels on, is those, so they don't stick to it.
Very cool. I didn't know that. I swear to God, all the things I know about spiders, all the things I know about even how to use a spider web to heal a wound, I swear to you. And those who know, right? But I never knew this. This is fascinating.
Well, it also represents the wheel of life in the tarot, like the tarot.
Well, that I knew. See that? And also the tenacity. Native Americans, the reason I was given the spider medicine is because of tenacity. It's like always at it, always on it, as far as that. And listen, what happens to a spider web gets a hole in it. You ever see a bird go through a spider web? Ever see somebody knocked down? What does it do? It doesn't sit on the branch and go, took me a week to do that. And look at you. Just run it. Nope. Goes right back and fixes it. The tenacity. So it's very cool to have spider medicine, and I'm sure there's something you guys think of too that matches that, that belief. Go ahead, Lynn.
Like the corn spider also is the writing spider that redoes the center of its web every night with that Z formation. Those beautiful yellow and black large spiders that they sit there. People are, you can pick them
up. Banana spider, guys. Yeah.
Well, it's got a couple of different names, but you know what I mean. That's
that's what I would call them. I'm no. I'm
going to interrupt real quick because I want to ask you a question. Go ahead. How long are we going to be on? Because I got to use the bathroom.
Listen. I'll tell you what. Perfect. I have a little intermission. Just to remind everybody, it's spooky season and Halloween. It's about 2 minutes. It's a little song called "Haunted House." Okay. So perfect. Go ahead. Take your time. Here we go, guys.
Mention my name. Get a good seat.
I love it. Have you seen this one, Lynn? No? It's good. Watch it.
And the candles glitter like you're in a thriller. Heart goes pum pum pum. Ghostly figures, they can get so bitter. Show you want to enter, you can turn back now. You don't know where I've been. What's going on inside? Where the monsters like to come alive, come alive. Do you really wanna know me? I'm really not that cozy. It's up to you, so you decide, you decide. Would you love me up my words till the coffin's in the dirt? Try to break me like a curse, that will never work. I'm a little bit absurd, I like dancing on the verge. Anyone can love a pretty little mansion, but could you love a haunted house? Or could you love me now? A haunted I'm a haunted house. A haunted house. If you're too scared, get out. A haunted I'm a haunted house. Broken windows and a warning scribbled on my wall saying that you better turn around. Wouldn't be the first to try to burn me down. You're blue, you too. Would you love me up my words till the coffin's in the dirt? Try to break me like a curse, that will never work. I'm a little bit absurd, I like dancing on the verge. Anyone can love a pretty little mansion, but could you love a haunted house? Or could you love me now? A haunted I'm a haunted house. A haunted house. If you're too scared, get out. A haunted I'm a haunted house. Could you love a haunted house? Or could you love me now? A haunted I'm a haunted house. A haunted house. If you're just taking side. A haunted I'm a haunted house. Words till the coffin's in the dirt. Anyone can love a pretty little mansion.
Boo.
I love
Happy Halloween, everybody.
you. Always do such an amazing job with those, Cisco. Always.
It's so much fun.
I know.
So
I
much
love
fun.
it.
It's so much fun. Hey, look, you got to get in the spirit. You got to be creative. I tell everybody it keeps your lights on, because creativity, connecting with nature, re-energizing your energy, for healers and for people that are interested in helping others through pain, whether it's mental or physical or, whatever. Listen, we all need to recharge, and this is our way of recharging. We come in here, we watch, we'll pick an artist and we'll put it out there and just put the music to it, because look, that's two artists that came together, don't know each other, that are helping people that they don't know, just by lifting their vibe for 2 minutes, through visually, almost like, so many different senses there that you're lifting. Music and dance and that kind of light being put out is so cool. And I think the opposite can be true too. Lynn and I've talked to this about many a time, that you do the opposite. We're watching somebody, talk about an axe murder, or some villain on a train that's, some kind of wild psycho, it's almost the opposite. So we have to throw more like cute animal videos and stuff up to counter that. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I mean, it sounds like a,
I love
kind of a yard sale way of going at it, but it works for us.
No, it does. And then you do an amazing job at it.
Well, it's just, I think it's so cool that artists that don't, like I said, people making these gifts and chopping, a lot of them are like chopped movie scenes and flowers growing or a cute animal, lots of, cats, dogs, kids doing things. It's still all good light. You put it all together with a composition like some of these musicians put out there, and then allow us to put it out on the inner tubes.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Light into light, into light, into light, into light. So in native terms, we would kind of look at that, and I'm not speaking for all the Indians. Don't get an uproar. Okay. Don't send me emails when I say in native terms. It's like, say, listen, vicious.
Well, there's so many different tribes. Like, I do have Native American in me as well.
Right, but it gets vicious.
So
I'm more Indian than you. Yeah. Again,
yes,
it's a broad brush. Okay, a big, long, big feather.
Exactly.
So, but basically, there are a lot of tribes that, again, the same stuff. We were just talking about it earlier. When you're describe for us, if you would. I know it's a deep subject, but in Reiki healing, what are you basically doing in layman's terms? Are you pulling from your energy? Are you doing similar to me where if somebody asks me what's going on and they open their energy and it's supposed to whatever. Again, I feel like my guides help me do this. They're just, to me, this is me. Yeah. I can feel a difference in the knee that is injured. In fact, I swear I felt a broken heart once. It was the saddest thing. I can't even describe that. Have you? Oh my God.
We all have broken hearts, and that's
it's just the pain, honey.
We all have broken hearts, and that's something that.
But to unexpectedly hit that, I'm looking for a shoulder that's out of place or something else, and you feel that, and it's don't laugh, but we'll go ahead and laugh, but. It's like it's my kind of my yard sale where I go to shit. Throw everything on the table, $5. If you bitch about it, it's 10. That's my so anyhow, it's like you're not expecting it. You're looking for the shoulder or the pain they're telling you about their back or whatever, and you unexpectedly, because it's so profound, and you're not expecting it on the person because they've got their mask up and you're not sure what's going on. But listen, if you're just coming at somebody, a cold or a chronic allergy or something can feel the same unless you really start reading through the different layers of energy and sorting.
I challenge you to find, how is it different?
It just feels different.
We get sick. It's dis-ease. We get sick because because I'm just saying,
it's
like,
different.
A lot of times our sickness and our energy manifests as physical illnesses, like if it's out of balance.
Yes. So, and if you're a light worker or an empath, I just had to tell somebody I work with, I said, look, honey, you don't have your baseline. You really have to sort it all and figure, okay, what's really me? That's not mine. That's not mine. Why am I feeling that? Listen, I did it with a Bigfoot. Boy, that's a clip. That's not what I mean. What I meant was I felt that animal, person, whatever, because my people, we call them the people. It actually translates to that, the people, the tribe, the secluded tribe. There's all similar. But again, I think there's different. Just like dog, how different is a Chihuahua from a wolf?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes.
It's different, same thing, different. So I felt it before I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, empath people, that's nature. It's I feel like it's very strong, especially when you're out in the middle of there. But you're in a Walmart. What are you absorbing? What are you absorbing at the office?
Yeah. You do it. And why is the energy different in Walmart than in Target? You ever notice that too? Like
it is though.
It is. It's a different
energy. Though. Well, for one, it's the color differential. I can speak on that from an advertising point of view, and as an and I throw out artist, but again, broad brush. I've done everything from hot glue to gold, 14 karat gold wire, and everything in between. Okay.
I think there's a question in the comments, but we'll get to that.
Hit me. Which way did it go?
Renee?
Hold on. Is it Renee? Hold on. Here we go. Okay. The name is, and it's they went through all that. They've been doing this for a couple of weeks now, because here's the deal, Renee, just to zip back to that real quick. It was there.
It probably doesn't have any.
So long ago. It's not going anywhere. The best you can do to hope for is appease it, sort what you're going to do with the property, and understand that if you stay there, the best you can hope for, the best, and it's a fight, it's a battle, and it's a constant battle. It's like using sage and thinking you're going to do it once, and then no, it's a maintenance, and this is going to be high maintenance, and it's going to be, you can make a boundary and some sort of an agreement. But listen, you're dealing with, it's never going away. And it's not just that house.
It's not.
So it's one of those. It's not sour soil, I would say. But it's close. The
thing about it too is, because I've been back to the house so many times, it had chewed away at my auric field by because when we're light workers and things like that, we constantly have to have like a protection around us, because we're constantly under attack, especially if you're in a situation where you're trying to remove spirits or whatever that don't want to go. So that constant attack was there, and I actually picked up an attachment while I was at the house that way too. And I had this thing, and I assumed that it was from that entity, but I've since been told that it was that I picked up the attachment elsewhere around my abdomen, and it felt like a moving baby, but on the outside. And I actually had somebody remotely remove it, and they said that it was a horrific looking thing with lots of teeth, and that it had this infected root that it had run down through my shoulder and down into my back. And I never have pain there, but I was in so much pain in that shoulder. And usually it's the opposite shoulder that I have arthritis in, but this time it was the other side of in my back where it was going down, and I'm like, you know what? I wondered, because I don't normally usually have pain there, and they said that it was this infected cord thing that this thing had literally like drilled into through my body, that I was left open to picking up simply because my field was weakened, and my auric field, normally you can feel me when I pull up on the street, you know, before
basically. I'm going to throw two things out there. One, Renee's asking, did you ask? You and Brian were constantly asking and everything. Yeah. That's what I was saying in my long way of answering that question, Dr. Renee. Yes, that's what I meant by saying they've been going over this for weeks. I've been throwing remote viewers. You know, we've got mediums and psychics. I've got other people that she doesn't even know about looking into it and giving information to you know, and to Bri, and, you know, checking things out. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. This is one of those paranormal chain things where everybody gets together, and it's so great to have, and you're part of it now, Stacey. But because, you know, it's so much fun. My family makes fun of me because I'm like, I got a guy. Mm-hmm. I got a guy. Like when somebody like Lynn asked me, and I'm like, you know, again, it was one of those late night things or whatever. I'm like, I knew who to talk to. And I knew who to call in the background to give backup for that, because we, you know, before. And sometimes people could contact me and they'll be like, I'm in Georgia, such and such. Well, what's going on? I got a guy, you know, out there. Yeah. They run their own filters. They run their own thing, but there's specialties. Now, you do that too, Stacey, where you go down your contact list and go, you know, I do the finger. I just let them do, and I'll do the finger, and I'll get a tingle, and I'll look, and I'll go, really? Yeah. That actually happened with me and Brian, because I had no idea. He's got a couple of different, you know, things he's amazing at. And I went, really? Okay. And I called it. He goes, starts laughing. He goes, yeah. I'm like, what? This is awesome. Okay. Yeah. But it's so cool to be at that spot.
It
Go
is,
ahead, honey.
Was too, is that the connection then immediately clicked with, for me also, because I actually know him as well. You know, I'm like, really, Brian? I had no idea. You know,
but right people for the job, right tool for the job. You don't try to fix a Mercedes with an egg beater. And that's just the thing. And everything Stacey's doing, I can just see that wall and understand everything. I mean, she's got a stack of skulls. See, I told you it was totally normal to have stacks of skulls behind you.
Wait, I mean, see what I made today?
Yeah.
They're not done yet. I got to add things.
Oh God, I love. They're candle. Oh my gosh, they're candle. Either it's a candle or he's really glad to see us.
I know. I was like,
what are the two? Yeah, what are the two? I'll take 3. Let's get. I love that.
I love some stones in there and some rose petals.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Absolutely. Tell us where we can get them, you know, and I'll have the mods throw it up there. I kid you not. You got a website? Are you doing it Etsy? You do have your own?
It's therusticspirit.com.
These are not mods, go in there and find that. Therusticspirit.com. I'll type it in the. Get me the link for that. Throw it up there in the chat. Go ahead, Lynn.
I want to get yours too, Cisco. I saw where your son. Well, your son was putting up the thing for
no. It wouldn't let me post it.
Oh wait, let me see if I. Where are you at, hon? Oh, there we go. Hold on, I'll make you a mod, and you can do it if you're a mod.
Okay.
I'm doing infield promotions.
Okay, infield. It's not
infield under fire. Infield promotions here. We're making mods as we speak. Okay, and welcome everybody that's here. Thank you, Uncommon Belief. How about this one?
Uncommon Belief is correct. I am not. There's no the in front. Wait, is there?
RusticSpirit.com.
I thought there was the RusticSpirit.com.
Hey, Susan. Hey, Donnie, too. How you doing? Somebody just asked me about you. How you doing? Good to see you.
Common, would you mind putting up Cisco advertising also for her sweatshirts and things like that? I want to.
Oh, thank you. My TeePublic. Yes, thank you so much. I love my mods. See them up here. They're slinging it. Let's get that up there again. So tell us about that. What these fine candles? I love them, by the way. I made some out of, gargoyles. It was a big block, almost like the old milk jug candles. Like you got the not jug, the wax quarts, right? The half gallons. And great to put a candle in, but put a stone gargoyle in there after it melted down. There's a gargoyle inside. Oh, like, you know, what charm are you going to get? Yeah. Kind of like the thing, bath bombs with the rings, but different.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Tell us about
I'm making a bunch of Halloween stuff. I signed up. Before I started doing all of this, I was just a vendor, a crafter, and doing, like, you know, all of the store that you've seen, Cisco, at the Bash.
Beautiful stuff.
I did all of that. And so I signed up. I sign up every year for the Apple Harvest Festival in Biglerville. And it's like huge. People come
from where? Big what?
Biglerville. It's right outside of Gettysburg. It's Adams County. It's called the Apple Harvest Festival.
Oh man, it sounds wonderful.
For the first 2 weekends in October. So I'm making a bunch, and it's a craft only show.
I gotta get there.
So I can't bring my stuff, like my tarot cards and stuff like that, you know, that I sell. So I'm
how do you feel about a duplex on a farm? How do you feel about goats, baby goats wearing sweaters? How do you like goat cheese?
Yoga. I'm a yoga instructor as well.
I just want some cheese. Listen, I'll do a lot of things. I'll even help clean after the goats, but you're not bending me. You can. I only bend so many directions.
Goats have been coming up for me a lot lately. I think there's a spirit message in there.
Goats and sweaters. What is it with the goats?
Everywhere there's goats everywhere. I went into Starbucks and there was a baby goat with a diaper on.
I'm thinking goats and sweaters. Something about the goat cheese. I think probably because it's such a sustainable protein. You know, and it's so simple and really kind of an organic-y thing. But listen, goat cheese is fantastic, especially if it's got a little garlic and a little, you know. Man. There was a lady used to make, oh gosh, yeah.
I'm like, goats have been coming up a lot. I need to know what they mean. This is my Bible.
Yeah. Oh, love it. Love it. See, now I can speak on some of that, but only because, like, and I've told Lynn, and to kind of put close the portal on that whole thing, you know, not that I'm shutting the subject. I'm just saying I wanted to finish with that before we jumped into this. Here's the thing. We've got people that are doing what they specialize in and focusing in on this. And basically the short end of the story is, anybody who calls me, I tell them, you can take whatever route you want to take, whatever journey you want to take, and for whatever reason, okay, that's up to the individual that's dealing with the issue and what they're dealing with. There's going to only so many laws that work, only so many lore that works. There's just the facts, okay? So you got to get to a local shaman, local medicine man, that can appease it, that can reason with it, that can put a boundary, and the boundary is going to be something along the lines of an agreement to not harass for a short time. And that's the way it is. Now, what Lynn decides to do with that knowledge, you're going to have to see after the fact. We've talked about planting fruit trees as an offering, and so, you know. And then Lynn looks at me and she says, "There's 3 in the backyard now," and I'm like, "Well, somebody knew what they were doing. Maybe they stopped and just thought it's a one and done. But this is a heavy maintenance thing, just for a boundary."
Did they take care of the fruit trees? Were they pruned correctly? Did they?
Yeah.
Did they just plant them and let them go?
Like so much to it, Stace. So much to it. But and it's a lot of work.
It's going to be an offering every day. It's going to be an everyday. It's going to be part of your morning practice. Rubber is going to be there. Like, make your coffee, go throw out some honey. You know,
it's going to be a drain, and it's a lot of upkeep. My thing is either turn it into some kind of paranormal investigation place and let it make money for you, in the understanding that you're going to have a very strong filter. This way, you can make money, but you have to check your zoning, your neighborhood, all of the due diligence. Just an idea. But if you had something like that under the same conditions, and I've seen it work in a lot of places, it works at the Hoover. You know, people don't go in there and kicking in doors and provoking things. And they come out with,
Some people do, but they don't last long.
They don't last long at the Hoover. So because there's a certain vibe you want to stay, because if you get the certain vibe, you get so much done in such a short amount of time, because everything is rolling like a band at a good blues jam. I'm telling you, that's how it works. So Lynn knows that in order to get that point, we talked about the library, historic society, whatever, get your land blessed, talk to the people there, give that a whirl. And as you're doing that, decide what you're going to do. But you could do it if everything clicks into place, a paranormal investigation thing, but that's just going to stir it up, as long as you're not liable, but it's not going anywhere.
I would say definitely what you said, go get the native, someone native to the land.
That's where you're going to wind up.
Make sure that they know the land.
The thing is too, is in Louisiana, voodoo is just commonplace there. So,
perfectly fine. Go that route too. Get them both.
Yeah.
Get them both. They'll work together. It's similar. It's so similar.
It is.
And it's wild when you do. I'm telling you, I get so excited. I can't keep my freaking mouth shut. But, just seeing what people use lavender for and what their belief is and how. And then it's like your people did that too, but 5 other things. And then now 8 things. I mean, it's incredible when you open your mind and your heart and your acceptance, your knowledge just comes pouring in. Your consciousness raises, just because your consciousness is raised.
One wisdom, like what you said. There's not just one wisdom.
Right. There's so many levels. And but just because your consciousness is raised doesn't mean you don't get pissed. It doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes.
Because we're just, I think, living a human experience.
Yeah, and still souls learning.
Yeah.
And so many people, I really admire you guys, because you guys found ways in your own field to use your hands for healing, to get knowledge of the earth. Lynn does as well, even though she was more on the medical side to it and had worked with pharmaceuticals and company, and people at the end of death, and saw people passing through the veil and saw people talking to those that came to help them cross over and things like that. In your ability, Stacey, are you that? Do you see anything? Do you see elementals? Do you see earthbound spirits or spirits that come and visit? I mean, have you had that kind of a life too, a haunted life a little?
Yeah, pretty much. Mine's more of a feeling. I have a feeling I do see them. And the more I tune into my own self and I open up, then I can see them more. In certain areas of times in my life, I have to shut down a little bit when I'm going through something. But when I am fully open and fully comfortable and fully secure with myself, then I do see things. I have one in my house right now that actually just keeps walking past here. I don't know if you keeps walking past in my kitchen. It's something new, and my daughter's been seeing it, and we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure out what it is. She thinks it's dark. It's making the lights flicker and stuff on her, and so it's something that I do see that, and I see fairies. I see when I go in the forest, I see all of the things. Like
you send us some pictures now. Are these your own pictures, or
those are not? But I do have a lot of my own. I actually was trying to look for mine earlier. How
beautiful it is. But see, you can't look at that and not know that if you could walk out there barefoot on that moss, how much you're pulling, up from the earth, and so cleansing, and it's grounding. We got to do more of it. And I think we're missing that as a lot as a society, because it got us in our.
The trees are ancient knowledge. Trees have to hold so much knowledge, they can tell us so much. And just learning about the trees and how underneath and
thanks, Midwest.
Intricate,
welcome in.
Intricate, root systems and how they feed off of each other and help each other up. And we could learn a forest of trees. We need to live like a forest of trees lives.
Yep. And like I said, so many people in this chat, they get that. We're in here like Aunt Edna. God bless you, honey. I hope you're feeling better, sweetheart. And Lindsay too. I hope you're feeling better. And so many people in here get exactly what you're saying. We know we got to connect back to nature. It's almost like everything around us at this time is reminding us that you better. This wonderful lady, you probably know who I mean. She was on Alone, one of that Survivor reality, whatever. She was the herbalist. She had MS, changed her diet, started learning about the stuff around her, amazing woman. But I tell people all the time about dozens of people I know like this that have done similar, and people are kind of just getting back to that. At the very least, if you have that knowledge, it's like the old granny witches. Don't let that die. Write it down, teach a kid. I joke and say, teach a kid to sew on a button, but it's not really a joke. I don't think we do much. Lynn's written a book on how to be a teenager or preteen, and for adults too.
The world's going to
so many things we've forgotten. There you go. There's the gap. Throw it up there, girl.
And the world is going to force us to go back there if we don't start doing it on our own. Like I strongly believe that. I hate to be like a forsayer of this horrific event.
But Stacey, would that be such a bad thing? Look,
no, it's not. It's going to be
that pendulum swings back, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel it. Those Lightworkers, we all feel it.
Yeah,
come on, everybody feels it.
I work in middle school, and I have middle school students saying, "This is stupid. I'm not learning anything. I'm wasting my time here." God
bless you.
And they want to go live on the land. And literally, this kid's like, "I want to live on the land."
Teach them to farm. Teach them how to grow potatoes in buckets, for Pete's sake.
I want to cut open animals and put them on the fire, and like he says all these things, and I'm like, yeah, but I agree with you. This is how we do need to live, but you know what? The law says you have to be here, so how can we get through it?
You want to learn how to live off grid? The best thing, I would go at it, because I've had to teach children and adults alike that are have disabilities, so art therapy. So it's, touch therapy, it's for autistic, it's for brain injuries, it's, all different, MS, you name it. And not only get into their brains and decide, okay, my approach was, and this will make sense in a second, to get inside their head, what's interesting to them. First of all, they have to want to do it, hey, or let me glue some cotton balls to a paper cup, or whatever. Where's the drive in that? You're treating them like an idiot. What do they want to learn? I want to learn how to crochet a scarf. Okay. Now I have to look at, the abilities that they have. What's the stamina? What is their physical ability to be able to do it? Is there some way I can modify the equipment needed to make that easier for them? And then how do I go approach teaching them how to do this in a simple manner that will produce something quickly, that they can actually see a textile that they can see that they just made out of their own light and creativity. I mean,
and they can be so proud of it, like
but it's so simplistic. It sounds complicated, but it really isn't. And I think if we all approached our own selves like that and said, look, I know I got to go to work and pound out that paycheck. I know I got to deal with people that maybe don't feel the same as I do, and they're just going about the grind and hamsters on wheels or rats in a cage, whatever you want to say, and you just kind of gray manning it through and trying to survive because you're a light worker and you're just trying to keep the light on, do your job, pay your bill, you want to be able to go do the show on the weekend and be yourself and read tarot or whatever it may be. Go work on a Mustang in the garage. I don't care. You bake cookies, whatever it could be. That peace and joy. Gardening. Listen, when we had to put our hands in the dirt every day, when we had to pull water out of the river and carry it, through the woodland to get to the cabin, to whatever it may be, when we washed our stuff on a rock, you're in tune with nature all the time. Nobody has to teach you what the song of the birds mean. When you hear the sound. And it's the same as you brought up earlier. It's the same with Bigfoot. These people are hearing the whistles and the frequencies. They're hearing the calls back and forth. How is that different than a Cheyenne dog soldier on a recon mission? When they're out there checking out another tribe that they heard is going to get, run a raid on their village. Yeah. So Cheyenne dog soldiers are some of the best camouflaged Native Americans out there. If you don't know the story, go look them up. It'll blow your mind.
I don't know that one. Yeah.
I mean, everybody's seen the oil paintings. Think back, like if you're going through whatever and you're seeing these oil paintings, you ever see the one where it's going to be like a wintry scene and it's going to be a forest with the white birch, with the white bark, with the black and gray in the trees, right? And then you look past the trees, and there's a whole damn royal guard of Cheyenne dog soldiers in between the trees, and you can't see them because their camouflage is so good. They blend right into the, it's an amazing thing. That's where a military gets, all their camouflage secret from. It's all tribal. It's all tribal. They took so much stuff from us, it's not even funny. So again, look what they did with the progress. They took something as simple as white willow bark. Stacey, I'm sure, is familiar, and Lynn, I'm sure you are too, because we've talked about it, which is for pain. Now, I know some big old Indians at powwows that'll just reach up and grab a branch off, start chewing it, for a headache.
Aspirin. It's like aspirin.
It is. Now, what happened when the progressive newcomers came in, and I hate to just say white people because they weren't all, but when the new people came in and encroached that and saw that working for people, they looked at it and said, now how can I take that, mass produce it, and make money off of it?
Make money. Greed is like that.
And that's the kind of shit that started. And then you're so far removed from the white willow bark, that's the active ingredient in that mixture that they've mixed so many things with over time, because every, I think, 5-7 years, it may be different on certain medications, but they have to change the formula or they can't repatent it. So they have to change it and add something else, and they have to tweak it so they can repatent it. How far away from actual active ingredient of that white willow bark? The same with valerian root. Well, that's the basis for Valium.
Well, they're doing the same thing with marijuana too. Like, they have synthetic versions of it given it to people with chemotherapy because they can control it, standardize it.
Yep. I'll tell you what, when you give a bunch of power hungry, greedy people that are so psychopathically born into a DNA of the same, that it's all again about power and progress and who's got the who's got the newest this or that amongst themselves, but they fly around on this high thing where they're also driven by a lot worse, a lot darker. But that whole
that is fear.
That whole, oh god, yeah, and that whole materialistic kind of thing. All right, so it all started with Keeping Up with the Joneses. And when they started putting commercials on television and in the 50s and telling you had to have this foil from Alcoa because it's the best foil and you can wrap your Sunday roast with, without tearing. It's like, and be like the space, NASA and the space, program. And that's the kind of stuff they're using. And then you find out how nasty and dirty they were, the Alcoa, and the things that they did behind the scenes. And, it's just go back as far as you want. But everybody wanted that damn foil until it was the next thing and the next thing. And it's, chock full of nuts, the heavenly coffee, and you're singing the tunes and you're squeezing the friggin' Charmin and you're, where's the beef? And, where's the beef? And you're drinking the cola because everybody's ordering that cola or Mr. Pibb or Dr. Pepper, and they're doing the do, for the love of God. Nothing's changed.
And they think that's like, we're going to be part of something, and we're going to be part of. That's the psychology.
That's why gangs work.
Yeah.
That's why gangs work. I want to be part of something.
Yeah,
I'm with my family. This is my family. They understand me.
And marketers and government, they take advantage of that. They know that. They know the psychology.
And this is why Target feels different than Walmart. It's colors. It's the same thing that works with, it's a certain, listen, they've got a whole panel of people that just pick out where the lighting is going to be for the best effect.
I am not single. I'm sorry. There's a question there. Donnie, no, I'm not single.
There you go. Another one off the old, the list there. So it's all about color. So listen, the visiting team in most stadiums, their locker room is pink. Why? Because pink takes the fight out of you. It's the same reason that they do it in showers and prisons and things like that. It's the same reason hospital a lot of the old hospitals, especially, you had your beige, you had your aqua, that sea foam aqua, but it just had enough tinge of turquoise in it to make you want to throw up. And then it has like the white and the bright yellow above it. And that in a hospital, halfway, the bottom half will be this aqua, sagey, teal kind of color, and up here will be white or bright yellow. Why? Because the people standing up are the people that work in the hospital.
Yeah.
The people that are wheeling in wheelchairs or on a gurney, they're sick. So they want to calm them down and keep the other people that are working awake. It's the same thing as in Las Vegas and any kind of gambling. What the hell? Casinos. They pump in oxygen. There's no clocks to be seen. The pattern on the rug keeps you awake and alert. Doesn't matter if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon look the same in a casino till you go outside.
And the subliminal messages that they pass through music and things like that as well.
Neuro-linguistic programming. And they've been using it on us since they could send shit across the airwaves and the radio waves, and everybody had to sing the songs. It's in the music that was picked, everything, the fear, all of it, I mean, it's absolute trash. And what the answer is, what we're looking at right now, is nature. If you can find a little piece of that quiet, and if they can't get out, Stacey, if they're in an apartment, if they're in a situation where they don't have a lot of nature around them, city or whatever, what can you do in your own personal space to create that kind of? There you go. There you go. Plants.
Like I have, plants, eating nature in us, eat nature, like
bring it
more
in.
Natural, eat more whole food. Like, honestly, I was just sitting here munching on buffalo chicken dip, but yes, I'm not one of those preachers about you got to eat this way, but yes, you can eat the food. You can have the plants around you. Even in the city, there's at least one tree. There's got to be a tree near you. Go talk to that tree.
Right. Or like you said, bring it inside. So I really wasn't thinking about that. Like, yeah, absolutely, because it's going to change the oxygen, everything else. This is a great way of doing it. Even if you've got one sunny window, a sunny corner. How many old stories? I think about a tree grows in Brooklyn. I think about the one. What was it? I can't remember was it the raisin in the sun, where she just had this one plant. She carried it from place to place to place, one potted plant she put from window to window wherever she went, and had this one damn plant. There was so much life between her and that plant. Very much like when we have cats and dogs or pets. Same thing. I think that they really give us life, especially light workers.
Yeah, for those who struggle with not having enough light, or they like to kill all their plants. There's some people out there that can't grow plants, and that's fine. Like, there's some very easy to take care of plants: the snake plant and the pothos. Like, I have these.
Yep, I agree 100%.
So forgiving.
Yep,
so forgiving. You can forget about it for weeks.
Yep. So true.
Yeah. So
many. And nowadays, if you've got your cell phone, you've got all of these apps. You can take a picture, like in Google, or if you use Google, and take a picture, and you can get the care and handling. I work in a florist, so I have people all the time coming in with plants. I'm like, did I overwater it? Did I do this? Did I do, and most of the time, but now there's apps for that. No kidding. Like, make these little bastards work for you. Don't use these cell phones and stuff the way they intended it, to distract you from your life and living. Use it to live a better quality of life. Like, use some of these apps for that. There's essential oil apps. There's yoga apps. There's meditation apps. Brian Bowden was on here last week showing the crystal bowl app that he had, the frequency app to change the frequency, the hertz around you, just to listen to a vibration. We talked about Bigfoot connecting into these vibrations and these vibes. And we also talked about a lot of times with the pictures that are taken are fuzzy. There's a reason for that. Think predator. Listen, if you don't think that we don't have that. So listen, there are things in nature, whether it's the chameleon that changes every time it touches the leaf or changes the colors, right? There's all of these things in nature that have these wild abilities. How many different fish and different things like that, like the Cheyenne dog soldiers, are mimicking, people like them. They're not the only ones. I mean, so much of the camouflage and, and then what the military has done to it. But like I was talking about the willow bark, people with this power and this psycho, that's exactly what it is. It's just the psychopathic mindset of this power and fear and this money grinder of all of this. Is just basically they have taken everything simplistic, like white willow bark, and turned it into this patent of aspirin for a century and 2-3 centuries.
All of the medicines come from something in
and
nature.
More medicine. Yeah, absolutely. And they don't want you to go. And any herbalist will tell you that if you're going to go for something, like we talked about garlic a couple weeks ago, the power of raw garlic. Holy shit. You want to talk about a howitzer of herbs.
Oh, I know.
Or
turmeric, ginger and garlic together.
But yes, and then they take it and they put it on a commercial. And this is true. When garlic started to make a spike up and people started talking about it, before you knew it, it was a clinical study, and there was an advertisement about it, and it was a man in a barber chair talking to his barber on the TV, and he said that clinical studies show that garlic does not affect blood pressure, or whatever they were trying to dispel that natural and herbalist people out there were putting out. And if you get into that and you dig into that clinical study,
you got to dig
clinical
in.
Study, okay, that was a double-blind placebo. Now, what kind of garlic did they use? Over-dried, over-processed garlic crystals, capsulized and stuck in some gel capsule, and then given to these people in small doses throughout the day, and that's their clinical study.
Yeah,
this is how they get away with it, people. But if you go back to organic garlic,
like I have a master's degree.
There you go.
So, we had to do, and in social work and psychology, you do a lot of research. You learn all about how to do research and all the terms and all the stuff. So, and I still have access to all the research guides, or to find any research, the peer-reviewed articles. So I can go in there and I look things, and you have to read it all. You really do. But I did want to touch on more about what you said about how you can bring nature in if you can't find it. You can do it in your mind. You can do it in guided meditations.
Beautiful.
You can
so true.
You can go there because your mind does not know the difference. That's the energy. Your mind does not know the difference of what you're imagining or if you're really there. You can go to the forest, you can go to the beach, you can go to wherever your happy places in nature in your mind. And
maybe watch some videos of other people on a hiking with a GoPro, or some of these other things. Listen, you can go anywhere you want to go now. Mentally. Google Earth. You can go to take a trip in Japan. Go on a ghost tour on YouTube, or I think it's
have one of those those things. The virtual realities. Yeah.
Yep. That's amazing.
Use it, like you said, use it for benefit. Don't let it suck you in.
Right, because they turn everything to a weapon or destruction. A weapon or destruction. This is what killed Tesla. Tesla wanted to give everybody free energy. They killed him for it. I've got a million stories like that. That is not hyperbole. That is not an exaggeration. I guarantee you I could keep sitting here flipping the script and tell you about suicides that shot themselves in the back and then cut themselves up, put themselves in a bag, and then put themselves in a trunk and locked it, and it was marked as a suicide by the coroner. So, I mean, I've got 1,000 stories like that. So this stuff is happening, and, Lynn has knowledge. I have some, and Stacey has some too. And again, you can apply all of these tactics and ideas in your own life to make your light brighter and a little bit easier on you, so you can regenerate and you can get through all this crap, because my God, it's a jungle out there.
It is a jungle. It is a jungle. It's chaos. It's chaos.
And
our brains
are after the loosh.
Yeah. Our brains are meant to make order out of chaos, but we got to get out of that. We have to, and one way, and you can cut me off right here if I go too far when I'm saying this, but there is new research out there about psilocybin, psychedelics, and opening up
A
that
lot of
mind
people are talking about that.
and being able to use that to connect back to what is real, and not what we've made up in our
Because here's the thing, Stacey, I agree 100%. It's not that I do them, but I'm not going to dispel them either. Because listen, I lived through the 60s and 70s. I already did my clinical studies. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, and I've got the stories and the scars to prove it. And all that tree hitting we were talking about, I did a lot of that back then. So, but here's the thing, facts are facts. And we also have to understand that these people, whoever they are, let's not get caught in semantics. Let's agree, evil, good, and then everything in between. There's a lot in between. They've been trying to to separate you from your golden light, from your cord, everything, changing your DNA, separating you from why? Fluoride. They convinced everybody that they were going to put fluoride in the water. My own mother stood in the kitchen. I remember to this day, I was 8 to 10 years old. And she was like, I come back from the dentist. I got a bad report of cavity, something. And it's money. Here's another bill. A single mom in the 70s. And of course they get upset and they're talking in the kitchen, drying dishes, And she says, well, at least I heard today, I read in the paper that they're putting fluoride in the water to help parents out, to strengthen the teeth of the kids. They won't get cavities anymore. And whatever propaganda they had running in the early 70s on that worked.
Mm-hmm.
It is no different than the bullshit they're feeding you today.
Yeah.
And because you can discern, like, issues Lynn's going through, things Stacey's told you she's gone through, my endless stories, you can learn to discern. It's no different than discerning a criminal case in a Villisca axe murder or a Lizzie Borden or whatever, or trying to understand why a ghost is haunting a family and what went wrong there. And how do we sort that out so everybody leaves here happier souls? And how can you be a happier soul? I love stories like Lynn says, like I got in there and I got a couple of those souls to cross over, by distracting and these things by nature, like trickery. And I think like a lot of tribes would, that if they were going to capture you or whatever, and you showed bravery and you showed a reverence, they would stop right there and include you into the tribe because they respected that.
Yeah.
There's a difference between reverence and being adamant and going after something like, all right, mountain, okay, not a surprise. And the only thing I'm trying to decide is, am I going through it, over it, around it? I mean, you have to be that way too, I think, when you're dealing with a sickness and you're a healer, whether you're healing with herbs or, do you know what I mean? You're taking your knowledge and you're sorting it out and you're using your energy and connecting it with them. Because if that wasn't true, Stacey, if that wasn't true, Lynn, because this is medical, this is energy, this is healing.
Yeah.
It's easier if the patient is also assisting, whether it be through laughter, a positive attitude. They're helping and they want to heal. It's a lot easier to heal that person. They're going to heal quicker. I know I've been through it multiple times, multiple stories with family members and such. And like I said, whether it's laughter or just like a positive attitude, or here we go again, we got to do that shit again. Oh, geez, whatever it may be, but they're helping.
Oh, yeah. Clients that are kind of on board and doing those things are so much easier to work with than the clients who are very resistant. Right. And they're stuck in that mindset. Yeah.
And that's what, perfect, mm-hmm. Because that's what it is.
But Reiki breaks through that. Reiki can break through that. I had I had a guy come to me. I did Hell House Paracon recently. And I had a guy come to me and his team, the two girls, they got readings and they're like, get a reading. And he's like, no, I'm not into it. Well, he comes back like an hour later and he's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I ended up doing a reading and some Reiki on him. And he had a lot of trauma. He had a lot of things going on, a lot of grief, but he had these tics that he couldn't get rid of these tics. And had been going on for a really long time. I gave him some Reiki, cleared some stuff up and pulled some things out. And he has not had a tic since. And it's been about, 3 weeks since I've
That's
been
amazing.
there.
It's amazing. It's
So
amazing.
that's those things that like Reiki can break through these things. Even those who are resistant, Reiki can break through. And I think you asked earlier about if I'm using my energy, and I'm not. I'm using source energy. And it all depends on where you get source energy from. I get source energy from the earth, and from spirit and, all directions around me.
It's wonderful too.
So
It
I'm
is,
not,
and that's a perfect sentence to point out with the chat too. Again, listen, guys, source energy, it's yours. And that's what they're trying to separate you from with the fluoride, with the calcifying the pineal gland. I've just found out from a lot of natural light workers too, that talking about the fluoride also is probably the cause of a lot of this Alzheimer type symptoms, because it calcifies the brain as well.
Linda,
Fluoride is a poison, people.
Linda, I'm talking more like Tourette's. He had Tourette's tics.
Yep.
Based on stress. It was like full blown like Tourette's that presented because of stress.
Yeah, and it's funny too that I find out a lot of chiropractic, the same type of things uses a good one, And again, it doesn't matter. Like Mario goes to the a little massage place where there's a lot of Chinese, and I mean they don't speak anything. This old lady comes from over there. She's back and forth because he always talks about, oh, she's in town. This is great, because she just comes up and she's like 5 foot nothing. And comes up, crack, 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 crack. But she also does an energy thing. Now, you can't tell me that's not similar.
Yeah, that picture you just had up with the colors, the chakras. It runs along our spine.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah.
It runs along this. Yeah, right there. It runs along our spine. The chakras live in our spinal area.
It is.
And if your spine is off, your chakras are off. It's all connected. It's all that. We need to go back to that holistic type of healing.
Exactly. I agree 100%. And I know Lynn agrees. And just last week we had Brian Bowden on here, and we're talking about Bigfoot, and somehow he wound up talking about frequencies and sounds and crystal bowls and gongs and fear frequencies and frequencies that keep you happy. You can connect in the Black Eyed Kids story. Steve Stockton. I have to introduce you, Stacey, to Steve Stockton. He's a great.
I did watch the podcast.
Appalachian. Oh, he's wonderful.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, I love Steve, and he's very elemental lore. Appalachian. He's my go-to for a lot of that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, again, it's the same, and that's my point. They've tried so much to separate us and put us in boxes, and they've controlled us with religion. They've controlled us with stereotypes and all of this falsity.
Have you ever read the Book of Mortals by Ted Decker? You didn't break it down. It's a 3-part series, but what it is it's a post-apocalyptic world where they have figured out how to remove all emotions from people except for one. Can you guess which emotion they have? Fear.
Fear. Yes. Right out the gate. Fear. Because listen, I'm the kind. Well, you're talking to the chick that when they started with the emojis, I'm like, well, not only are they taking the emotion out, and they've got teaching all the kids how to text now instead of shake a hand, look in an eye, have that emotion, that social connection, handwriting. Everybody thinks it's just they don't want you to be able to read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and things like that. And I do believe that's part of it, but it's not the only thing.
I have a 12-year-old that believes that, and he's on it all the time.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I think that's part of it, but you have to understand, as a Native American, listen, I'm a big fan of Jesus, and he spoke in parables, and so did a lot of Native Americans and a lot of teachers. Sun Tzu, to be one. When there's multi-layers to this, so it wouldn't just be one thing. The other thing that I believe, and it's really an emotional attack, and again, separates you from yourself, from your reverence for yourself, your self-respect, because here's why. Teenagers and young folk, they didn't just learn chores and things like that. Your writing and how you spoke And the words you chose to use was just
Mhm.
part of what went in front of you and presented you to the world as a human being. Your intellect, your wisdom, your travels. Are you speaking with a little, Robert Frost in there? Are you an Ivy League college grad, whatever? All of these things were able to be told through your handwriting. And it was something that you respected yourself, and your signature was
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
What have they taken away?
Yeah.
That individuality, and made you the same, and made you think that you were different because you could pick a font and replace your emotion
I've never thought of it
with
like that. That's a good
with
analogy.
emojis.
Yeah.
Because if you could read a journal from a young Civil War soldier, say in the wilderness, and he's writing in a little journal, or a mom that's waiting on that son, or a general that's has to make big decisions to his wife in any war. But so much of it was handwriting, Lynn,
Right.
and so much emotion in the swirls and the strikes and the
Yeah.
Communication back and forth. Yeah.
it's part of the plot to separate you from that creativity, from that individuality, from your own abilities, your own energy, to understand how powerful you are, how unbelievably powerful you are. A healer, you are a light bearer, you have abilities. And instead that, some young lady that's trying to connect with abilities, or some young man that's trying to understand why he sees dead people,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to shove a
Yeah.
pill down your throat and shock
Oh,
it out of you,
schizophrenic.
Yeah.
and shock it out of you, and or
There's
scare you to death. So
Yeah.
you put it inside. Next thing you know, you got a poltergeist that never was human, by
Yeah.
the way, developing out of all that energy that didn't have a way, and took all your anger and emotion, and now it's starting to take on its own life. And people don't get that. We talk about stuff like that and think we're crazy. Talk about stuff like Lynn's dealing with, they think you're crazy. But you tell me you don't drive down a street or walk down a street and go past a house or something else and get a feeling.
Yep.
Something ain't right. Hold on.
In a room
Something
and
ain't right.
feeling. That's what when I'm teaching a Reiki, if someone does not know Reiki and I'm teaching like a Reiki intro workshop or anything like that, I'm like, okay, when you walk into a room, can you feel with energy in the room? Have you ever walked in a room and be like, ooh, this is weird in here?
Yeah, you walked
Or
into an
a
energy.
Target analogy type
So
of thing.
thick.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
that
thick.
energy.
You walked into an argument. How many times you walked into a room? Did I walk into something?
Yeah.
Feel it all the time. All
feel
the
it.
time. But that's the same. And it's not just their trickery with their lights and their colors. Listen, Target, why is there so much red? Because the color red makes you hungry, and it makes you want to spend money. And don't think that, like I said, panels of color analysis.
It also makes you feel safe because it's the color of the root chakra.
Yeah. And it's just they know where to put stuff in the, to the left or the right. I remember being young, when I was younger, the impulse aisles where they put the candy right up against listen, this whole thing is a plot. And if you don't think they're plotting with the big stuff, look at some of the little stuff. How wide were those aisles back in the day? It wasn't just the parking spaces for the Cadillacs back in the 60s and 70s. Those aisles were wider. The carts were bigger. Okay. And there wasn't much up front when you got to the register, and the lady or the guy at the register knew all the prices by heart. This is before UPC symbols and stuff. Oh, she knew the prices, and she could ring them up and go. And the guy bagged them, carried them to your car. The guy at the gas station used to check your oil, would check your child price, and they wore little outfits in some cases. This is not going back that far.
I live in a small town, and we have a small town gas station and grocery store. They still do that kind of stuff there.
Right. I mean, but it's not that far that when you go back, and now you're in a grocery store and you're bagging it yourself. You have to bring your own bag. You practically work there. There's one chick on the phone or one guy on the phone looking at their phone, looking at their phone while we're all checking our stuff out. I'm expecting that they're going to have me unload the truck next time if I go on a Monday or Tuesday. I'm scared to go on a Monday or Tuesday when they get the trucks in. I'm going to be stacking oranges in a pyramid and the produce. you know, and I just want my my sweet tea and my bread and get the fuck out. I don't work there. And I'm not getting a discount because I'm bringing my own bag. The grocery prices didn't go down. You're being conditioned, people. You're being conditioned. 2 summers ago, they got rid of the plastic squirrels because it was killing the turtles. And I'm all for not killing the turtles. I don't want to see another meme of a straw up a turtle's nose. I vote for whatever stops that, okay? And stops it from happening. And then they said they got the paper and the paper collapsed and caused some kind of fungus mess. People get sued. We're back to the plastic again. We tried those metal, but I think people using those as weapons. People lost a couple eyes or whatnot. And now we're back to the plastic straws again, right back where we started from. They took our bags away in Jersey. Haven't lived.
They're taking them away here. They are taking them away here too.
You had to live till you're trying to get out of a damn Costco and you're watching some, God bless them, World War II veteran, I swear to God, trying to juggle a couple of cans of beans and a loaf of bread and a dozen eggs and stuff in his hands as he's walking to his car because all his life he got a bag. And that kills me.
I know.
Think about it.
I know.
It's dehumanizing. It makes you feel less than. It dehumanizes you. It separates you. Here, take the emotion out of it. Here's a picture of an emotion you used to have.
Yep. I know. I teach social skills and I teach emotions. And like, that's what I'm trying. These kids have no idea how they're feeling. They're like, I don't know why I feel this way right now. They have no idea.
There you go.
No idea.
Lynn, hold that up again. Lynn, tell us about the books. We've been here. We've been jawing.
Oh, that's the adolescent theme. I might need to read that.
I feel like we just got started. And Stacey, you'll come back, right?
Yes, you will.
Please
my
come
goodness,
back.
It's 10:00.
Yeah, I mean, I've kept you guys here for we're here 2.5 hours. I could go another hour, but people got to get up. So please tell us, Lynn.
4:30, so probably should get to bed.
God bless you.
I know.
Go ahead, Lynn.
If I may.
Yes.
Important to everybody, please write down the date, October 4th.
Yes, October 4th. Yep.
Okay. The reason why I'm mentioning this is, and I'm going to say it in code because I don't want this to get pulled because there are certain things that we can't.
Get your decoder rings out, gatekeepers. Get out your decoder rings. Here we go.
Okay. So on those dates, supposedly there's supposed to be an electronic, you know how those emergency signals come on TV?
PBS.
That's kind of thing. Well, FEMA's supposed to be releasing one either on the 4th or the 11th. If it doesn't happen on the 4th, it will happen on the 11th. However, it's supposed to trigger something through this.
Yep.
Okay. So you need to make sure that anything related to this is turned off from 2 p.m. Eastern time until 4 p.m. Eastern time on both of those days.
Yep.
Stay away from this. The reason why
shut your phones off, stick them in the microwave.
Yes, or anything else. Make sure you unplug your smart TV.
Unplug all your stuff.
Unplug your just for those 2 hours, those 2 days, because some are saying that energetically, if anybody has had or you're around people with shedding, that it can activate something within that and cause some serious issues. So I don't know.
That's somebody who's been in the medical field for over 30 years, folks. That's just some credentials.
I don't know for sure how it will affect it, and hopefully it will be something mild or maybe nothing at all. But if there is a chance that it can be, and
it may just be a test as well.
Could be as well. But
people love their tests. I mean, look at the history.
Better to be safe than sorry.
I mean, did you ever think, if I broke it down like this, here, you want to take something serious, that my mother was standing in the kitchen, glad they were putting fluoride in the water. And she was a teenager during World War II. Well, what was chlorine? Fluoride? Think about what they used in the war and what they did with it. And now you got chlorine and fluoride in your water. You take a shower. You want to talk about energy? Energy, you can't kill it. Just changes form. So all that water with the chlorine and fluoride comes in your shower. What does it turn into? Steam. What do you absorb into your body? What's the biggest organ you have on your body? Your skin.
Skin.
And you absorb all of that chlorine. A simple filter.
Mm-hmm.
A simple filter. Yeah. Be one up. That's it.
Knowledge
is power.
A filter on the shower head now. You don't have to even do a house filter.
Yep.
You can do that.
Yep.
Shower head. Every spigot can have a filter.
Yep. Yep. And on the counter filters too, right, Lynn? Go ahead, honey.
I just share that with everybody because I'm not going to see everybody again until the end of the month with when I come back on as co-host with Cisco. And I've been hearing this over and over again. Energetically, we are all picking up that something major is about ready to shift. We've been
you can feel it.
The last
I can feel it coming
yeah, and let's just hope that
Lord.
That, but again, to be safe than sorry, and I hope that it's nothing, but I would rather mention it and have everybody safe and have nothing happen.
Knowledge is power.
So
knowledge is power. Just also, unplug everything, shut it off, you know, and put your stuff, if you got a Faraday bag, there's plenty of little things like that. Or
and anybody around you, if you're at home, make sure that everybody else's is off too. So, you know, I plan on unplugging my router just for the 2 hours. That's all, you know.
I gave you the date, honey. It's October 4th. It's been widely announced as a test, but again, brought to you by the people that told you fluoride was a good thing.
And the ones that are promoting this.
4 out of 5 doctors recommend Camel cigarettes, and 2 planes took out 3 buildings.
Yes.
Those are the people.
That's right. If it does not occur, be the 11th of October. Keep in mind both of those dates. So it's just important to stay off the waves.
There you go.
That way, it just as on Halloween, it's not a good idea to meditate because you may get all kinds of traffic in. But
and just put your stuff up, right, Stacey? I mean, you know, you put your block up, Lynn. You put your block up. We have to do the thing. Whether for all my, you know, guy like you, light workers out there, the shower one works. A quick grounding. You get in the shower, put your palms against the wall, close your eyes, let the water hit you on the head. Imagine it's a golden white light from source coming down through your crown chakra, right, Stacey? All the way through, pulling out all the negative. See these things. Visualize it like Stacey says.
Visualization is a powerful tool.
Visualize it. It's so powerful. And believe it, and believe it's going to work because it's worked for centuries. It's what the trees are doing. It's what nature does for us. All of that goes down. Visualize it. All pulling all the negative out of your body goes down the drain. Actually, see it go down the drain. And then bring up that golden light back up, and finish through the top of your head. And just imagine that was a cleansing for you. If you can't get outside. And put a plant in the shower. Right, Lynn?
Yes. Yeah. And also, when you go to the toilet, you can envision yourself and bring it all in
and get rid of it.
Bathroom, you envision it leaving your body. Also,
all the negativity. Yeah. You could do that too, and also check for snakes. We had some snakes by somebody in the ass here. Yep. There you go. And Lynn, you're going to be back on with me at the end of this month. And Dr. Renee is going to be on with us. We're going to have a lovely time. That's coming.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
And it's going to be cool. And Stacey, we got to get you back on because I knew this was going to be crazy, wild, getting to know you kind of thing. We're not going to do the song, but we could if you want. So getting to know you. Name that musical.
I'm going to be starting.
The first one in the chat gets an emoji. Or something.
Right.
Just throw it up there. Go ahead.
I'm working on getting my podcast restarted. I've had to kind of personal things, but Stacey, I'd also like to reach out to you and have you on mine. Cisco, of course, and many other people that I've been promising. So I'll be in touch as well.
Okay, awesome. That'd be great. Yes, I'd be honored.
All right, guys. All right, and Stacey, where are you going to be, honey? I know you're going to be at the Hoover House.
Halloween, I'm going to be at the Hoover House. I'm going to be at Ghost City Tours again on the 22nd of October. Next weekend, I'm doing a fairy festival in Chambersburg.
Ooh.
So you're all around pretty much all Pennsylvania and all around
Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia,
There's so much
New York,
there.
New Jersey.
There's so much there.
I'll be in Salem in Massachusetts, November 11th and 12th.
There you go.
Our friend Steve Stockton is going to be there too. And I believe he said, say around his birthday time, which is Halloween. So,
and if you want something creepy to read on Halloween, want to read it?
Yes.
you go, people. True story. This is the one that comes out next from that. If there is a dark side, there's a light side. That would be the colors of heaven. Beginnings never end. All of you can find them on my website, www.lynnmonet.com, or through Cisco. And on the next show that Cisco and I have, I believe that I'll be co-hosting with her. We're going to have
Dr. Renee.
But we will also have that night where you can get one of my ebooks for free for anybody that donates $20 and over to Cisco's show.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, so get ready for that. And
that's going to be fantastic. Well, I'll tell you, Stacey sent me some pictures. I absolutely love this one, and it's so beautiful. And it's just that the combination of all the natural things together, and it's, I think it looks so comforting because I think our souls remember this kind of thing. Yeah. And I think that's what we're all yearning for. And, you know, I think that's what you meant too, when you were talking about places that draw you, like the Hoover House or the whole town. Yeah. You know, we're being like a calling. And Lynn, I know you felt it too, you know, and I know a lot of these things are happening to you to distract you from those things. You've gone through it for a while now, you know. She went to buy a house. It was so haunted she couldn't move in.
That would be
Stacey. That's omnipresent.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So these battles for her have been going on, like it's a continuous thing from one to the next.
So there's something generational. Like, is that something like,
right? Like, it might be a good idea for you guys to get together, you know, talk over the messenger or whatever, and just give her a couple of bullet points, because it is. I think it is. But again, that's why I keep saying the Native American local. It's very important. The shaman or but you know, I wouldn't dare pick. You let the universe do it. You just put the intent out there, and it'll come when you tell them you want your property blessed. That's all you have to. You don't have to tell them the story. That'll freak them out, and they won't. You'll wind up in jail, county jail. Right, Stacey? All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead, Lynn. You wanted to say something to finish up, and we'll get out of here.
That Stacey had on there actually has a scent, an energetic smell to it also. When I look at it, I smell, which I love this scent, the smell of rain after it has fallen, it's hit the leaves and the trees, and that scent. Everybody knows what that scent. And I say you can smell the rain, but really it's the aroma that comes from the earth and all. Very clean. To me, I love the smell. I mean, it's a very smell. So that
I know exactly what she means. Yeah.
Sure, to me resonates that scent, as well as the visual that has a scent to it energetically.
Yeah.
All right. This is great. Okay, guys, if you throw that link up one more time for Stacey's, can you tell us again what that was, Stacey? Your website?
The Rustic Spirit.
Okay. Let's get that up again. And Lynn's again. Lynn, give us yours.
www.lynnmonet.com. And Cisco, if you would also please put yours. I was trying to get the one for Cisco.
Oh, sure. The T Public. Sure. If you could throw it up there too, throw that T Public up there. And thank you so much, guys, for the, you know, if you want to give us a super chat, you can do that on the way out. But, you know, the way things are right now, we just need to spread the love. So if you give it a thumbs up on your way out, it helps with the algorithms. If you can comment, that really helps. Go in and, you know, and comment over on the video when it goes up. Donnie, you can yell at me over there. I look forward to seeing you. And, you know, everything. Listen, all those comments and everything else, it just gives the algorithm a boost, and we need it over there. So, because we say the truth here a lot of times, and the best number one truth, I think, has been the absolute most wonderful thing to learn about the paranormal, supernatural, metaphysical, whatever label you give it, whatever genre it might be, whatever little group that got your focus, that's your talent, that's your jam. It all is connected. It's all using energy. It's all using, we all realize that love and trying to understand each other instead of going at each other for differences. Like, you know, I was joking before about, you know, if you say Cherokees believe this, Sure enough, you're going to get somebody goes, well, my grandmother was Cherokee. She didn't teach us that. She taught us. That's not what I'm saying. It's like a group of people had a similar thought or similar use for something, or a wonderful way of expressing whatever they were doing, whether it was warring or surviving or getting married or choosing a horse or having the horse choose them. All of this, there's some beauty to it. There's a music, almost running through the whole thing. And it's like I said before about rivers. In Tennessee, Chattanooga Aquarium, I'll say this when we're out of here. You walk down and you see the layers of the river. And
Yes.
you realize that a current isn't just going in one direction. There's an underlying current that's going in a different direction in a different way. But it's all part of the same river. And when we all learn to flow together and what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are, why we do things, why we say things, why we got to be the guy at the office that says that jerky shit. Why does somebody try to instruct a room full of people by yelling and screaming and pointing out all the faults instead of anything that's good or positive? Those are where those people choose to be, and it's up to us to try to find a way to rise above that. And with our small little spot, try to make a difference and show people how to rise above that and be the light. So I appreciate you ladies here keeping the lights on. And, we got to do this again and come in and, next time, Stacey, maybe, we can bring some stuff. Maybe everybody bring their favorite little cure that always brings it, that everybody does in the family, instead of maybe running for Pepto-Bismol, they run for peppermint tea. The first tea I ever learned was sassafras. And maybe ask the chat too. Let's bring your little tradition. Yeah. What tradition, works for you, maybe it's still a hot toddy. I can remember, anybody know what a hot toddy is? My mom, actually, I can remember actually making a little shot of whiskey, a little aspirin, a little honey. And it pretty much cured whatever you, because you were passed out on the couch with the chenille pillow. Pleasure meeting you tonight, Stacey. Glad we got a chance.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
And Lynn, you know how much I love you guys. All right, I'm going to throw something neat up here. And good night, everybody. Thanks for coming. Let's do it again soon.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Chad. I love you guys. Good night. Here we go.